Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Velocity Motorsports. We're here tonight at AutoClub. A change to the schedule. Bristol was supposed to be tonight, but they swapped it out for AutoClub. One of my favorite tracks. I know it's one of Shad's favorite tracks as well, but we're going to be running 140 laps tonight at AutoClub. These guys are getting through their practice session before we get into qualifying here in just a few minutes. We'll go into the standings. I'll bring those up on the screen right now. Standings as of right now for Season 2 Cup points is going to be Nick Gowan, who is absent tonight for this race. Jose Ruiz, who's currently sitting in second with 346 points. Nate Mon, who's also absent tonight. Both Nick Gowan and Nate Mon, with their 2 wins, are both absent. Jovi Ray going to be sitting fourth with 329 points, 2 back from Nate Mon, so probably going to jump up into that third slot. Tyler Belanger sitting in fifth. Wesley Jeanette sitting sixth. Ryan Crook seventh. John Osborne, who is also absent tonight, sitting in eighth in the points. Brandon Watkins ninth. Chris Murphy 10th. Bill Hills 11th. Jason Blaney in the 22 tonight will be sitting in 12th in the points. John Tiller, after his great week last week, moves up into 13th into the points, 1 spot back from the playoff hunt. Andrew Bolander currently sitting in 14th. Johnny D, after his good week last week, getting some stage points and stuff like that, moving up into the top 15. And Cole Martin up into the 16th spot, who I do believe is absent. Nope, he is here tonight, so no missing for Cole Martin. But yeah, those four there are definitely in the playoff hunt. We've got some other drivers in the back behind the 16th spot that are currently also chasing, trying to get into that top 12 before we wrap up this Season 2 regular season after this week and next week. One race left after this race here at Auto Club. It'll be at Las Vegas. And then we'll move through into the round of one for the playoffs, or the first round of the playoffs. That'll be starting, I believe, June 20th is when we'll round out and start up the playoffs here. We'll take a week break prior to that for me for vacation, and then we'll come back and we'll start up playoff round one and head into I think it's Indy Road Course is where we're heading for the first round of the playoffs. But we'll head into that in about a couple weeks here. I'll bring up Shad now as I bring him up. He's been out on track running some laps in Auto Club, getting a feel for the track here. We've got stage break coming up at lap 55. Fuel should be somewhere around 28 laps, give her, plus or minus. But bringing Shad up into the booth now. Shad, you've been out on track running some laps. How does the track feel to you tonight with temperatures sitting pretty good, 77 degrees out on track for a track temp? Relative humidity is down to 56%. It's a night race, so track should have some extra grip on it, but it's always loose coming off the corners. But what were you feeling while you were out there on track?
Yeah, so it takes these cars about 4 to 5 laps for the tires to really come in. They're a little tight through the center of the turns and then loose off after about 5 laps, though. They really start to rotate really good through the center of these turns, and they're not as loose coming off. But then again, obviously, if you are getting onto the gas too soon, putting too much wheel on exit, then it is going to get loose. So, just by running those 15 laps that I was out there, I mean, Kurt, I love this track.
Don't we both?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I like that it wears the tires more than, like, say, Michigan, its sister track. You can still run up high here, and I expect we're going to see a lot of 3 and 4 wide around here. I just ran like 2 or 3 laps around the high side. Yeah, you get slower on entrance because you're going the long way around, but you carry so much speed on the exit of these turns. And I think you save tires up there, actually, because it's not as tight of a radius. You still have to let off, just like if you're running the bottom. But it just feels smoother up there. It doesn't feel like it gets loose. And then, fuel-wise, Kurt, for tonight, we're looking somewhere probably the 28 to 30 lap range. Tires aren't gonna. I mean, drivers are gonna want tires obviously way before that, as this old asphalt surface that everyone loved, and of course, NASCAR and all their great wisdom decides to change it into some oddball track that we've only heard stories about. No one's actually seen what it's kind of gonna look like. They just know that it's gonna be like a mile track.
Yeah, short track, looking like Martinsville.
Yeah, it's gonna be some kind of like I don't know. From the few images I've seen, it's going to be like a mile long with high banks. It's going to look like a Bristol and a Dover, but also kind of be flatter. Uh, I don't know. It's going to be weird, but yeah, Kurt, this track's amazing. We're under the lights, which is awesome. I mean, obviously, it's going to make everything look cooler. Daytime though, Kurt, I actually prefer because the cars get even more slick. You know, you really have to be good with the throttle and saving these tires and
Makes it an extreme
uh,
driver's track.
oh, for sure. And that's what I love. I mean, that's why I like this track. I like old Atlanta. I like Darlington. Um,
Texas.
yeah, Texas, new or old. Perfectly new. I'm a little better than that. Obviously, it's a little harder than the old Texas, but yeah, it's gonna be a great race, Kurt. I'm trying to look. Looks like we got 20, 22. Yeah, 22 cars for tonight. It looks like right now is qualifying's looking like it's gonna get underway here. Or actually, it is underway right now. So
Yeah, we got about 7
yeah.
minutes left in qualifying. Right now, Austin Walton in the nines, fastest in qualifying. Practice, Wesley Jeanette was fastest. Um, Tyler Belanger was fast for a while there and got bumped off by Wesley Jeanette. Wesley's had some good runs. He needs a good run tonight to try to jump up a few positions with a lot of guys missing, with Nick Gowan missing tonight, Nate Mon missing tonight, John Osborne missing tonight. 3 guys in the top 10 will be absent, so guys can do some shifting and changing in their position for the rankings. As I brought the standings up earlier, I'll bring them up again. With Nick having about a 50-point lead over Jose Ruiz. He's not probably going to lose out on the lead unless Jose gets max points to bring it in, probably within a couple points. I don't know if he'll pass him, but he could definitely bring it into a lot more of a competitive run for the last race of the season next week at Las Vegas. Nate Mon's going to lose some depth to Jose. And Jovi Ray is only sitting 2 points back from Nathan Mon. So by him showing up tonight, he's going to pass Nate Mon. Tyler B could pass Nate Mon. Wesley Jeanette, if he has a good race, could wind up passing Nate Mon, which could slip Nate Mon from third to sixth if this works out in the right direction for those drivers behind him. Ryan Crooks, if he's here tonight, he could jump up closer to that spot as well. So there's a lot of drivers looking to move up in, and there's a lot of drivers in the back that are not in the top 12, Shad, that have been having some good runs. Cole Martin, he's moved up into 16th in the points. He's been our Stage King winner for like 3 out of the last 4 races. So he could definitely jump up in here to the top 12. These guys are all running from Cole Martin and a few others that are coming up through the rankings in the back half of the rankings right now. With those guys missing, Shad, that have been the consistent, top 3, top 5 drivers with Nick Gowan and Nate Mon, who are you looking at tonight as possibly getting that first win of the season? With those two having 2 wins each and them not being here, the only other driver that's out here with a win is Ryan Crooks, and he has 3. And I don't even know if I've seen. Okay, so Ryan is here. So the only driver in the listing tonight that will be here at Auto Club is Ryan Crooks that has a win. So do we have a first-time winner, or do we see another win by Ryan Crooks?
I think we'll have a first time winner. Nothing against Ryan, but this track. Um, I mean, it's going to be a draft race. Towards the end of these runs, that's when we're going to see guys start to separate. Now Ryan is really good on tires. But I don't know if he got much practice or just wasn't in the top 10 on the leaderboard for practice. But Wesley Jeanette, Jason Blaney were really quick. Austin Walton, like you mentioned, he was up there, I think, in the top 5 for practice times. Tyler Belanger, he was up there as well, top 3, I think. Top 2 until I think my lap time beat him. But yeah, I think.
Ryan did say
to,
in his post-race, Shad, that this was his favorite track.
Yeah, but this is a lot of guys' favorite
Yeah,
track.
so
That's the thing, because it's so easy to drive, kind of. If you can just not overdrive the car, and it just allows for such great racing. The problem is everyone with these cars punching such a huge hole in the air. If you can't get away from the pack, it's hard to make up spots because guys are going to be probably single file on the outside, and you're going to have to pass below them. Just like we've seen at, I think, Michigan, where everyone was running the high side. The only way to get around was you had to slide job somebody. And if you don't clear them, you're going to lose positions because everyone behind you is going to be single file on the high side. But if you can get away from all that chaos and the guys behind you are too wide and battling, you can pull a gap. And I just feel like with Wesley Jeanette, Jason Blaney, Speed Kurt, and looking at the qualifying order right now, they're both up there.
Ryan Crooks just jumped to P5.
Okay.
And Tyler Belanger just came across the chat saying, well, I couldn't have messed up that qualifying any worse. Right now he is sitting dead last of qualifiers due to a mistake during qualifying.
Yeah, Tyler he's got a lap time, so he must have got loose or something, or because if he hit the wall, it wouldn't even count. But Kurt, I see 3 team cars, 1, 2, 3 right now on that qualifying board, and you get 3 guys working together around here, and everyone else behind them is battling. They will pull away by a large margin. And if we've heard all season long, Wesley Jeanette, Jason Blaney, and that whole Fueled Up Motorsports team, they've been working on the long run. They've always had short speed going back to last season. Is this tonight, Kurt? And I think it possibly might be. I think the winner is going to come from that Fueled Up Motorsports group.
I think it just depends. We saw a lot of working with that Fueled Up Motorsports group last week at Talladega. Sometimes we had 5 in a row, and they couldn't keep it together. They kept wrecking each other, even coming down to the end of the race. 2 of them battling for the lead and wrecked each other. So we've got to wait and see. I feel like, because if they can work together and not wreck each other, yes, they could pull away. But if they are aggressive like they have been on several tracks, it could be an interesting thing that we have happen tonight. It could be that those guys wreck each other again. Tyler Belanger coming across the chat saying loose on lap 1, wrecked on lap 2. Not a good qualifying.
Apparently he didn't listen to the pre-race show when I said these things are tight through the center, loose off if you get into the throttle too soon. And qualifying right now, you're gonna have to be backing up your corners, letting it roll, staying on the bottom, then getting on it, and that's the only way you're gonna put down a halfway decent lap time. Big jump to the front of the board, Kurt. And it was that guy you just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a really good lap time for these tires not being warmed up. Quickest times.
He did that on his second lap too.
Yeah, 40.2s in practice was the fast times, and he goes out there and runs a 40.47, only a little over 2/10 off that time.
He definitely warmed his tires up during the first lap.
Yeah, and that's something you can do too. You can take that whole first lap kind of, and just zig and zag, and hit the brakes and try to warm those tires up, and then once you get to turn 3, start going for it, and that does help, and I've actually done that myself a few times just to get the tires going. But another car I see up there, Kurt, that I know is good at saving tires is Jose Ruiz, currently slotted in that 4th position as Jovi Ray now jumps to 2nd on the board, Kurt, about 8 hundredths behind Cole Martin's lap time.
Well, we're going to throw in the national anthem as these guys are wrapping up qualifying. We'll come back for the gridding to see who gets the pole tonight, so we'll be right back after this national anthem. All right, we're here for Velocity Motorsports race number 10 at Auto Club. Grid is coming up, and Cole Martin gets the pole for tonight out of Virginia in that 31 paint scheme. Jovi Ray in the 33 will start second to his outside. Wesley Jeanette, that we talked about in the 74, will start third. Jose Ruiz, our silent assassin, will start fourth. Jason Blaney, another Fueled Up Motorsports teammate, starting fifth. Johnny Dispasquale, another Fueled Up Motorsports teammate, that's three in the top six, will start sixth. Austin Walton in the 9 will roll off 7th. Ryan Crooks, last week's winner, will start 8th. Dakota Ramsdale, 9th. Isaac Brock, 10th. John Tiller, after a great top 3 finish last week, starting 11th. Nathan Line starts 12th. Brandon Watkins, 13th. Brian Phillips, 14th. Ryan Horvath, 15th. Connor Elliott in the 15 will start 16th. David Mayo, 17th. Tyler Belanger, after that bad qualifying, will start 18th. Bill Hills, 19th. Chris Murphy in the 7 will start 20th. Andrew Bolander, 21st. Mike Papa Bear Campbell will start 22nd. And Sean Walton in the 10 will roll off in the 23rd spot. 23 drivers tonight, Chad, as they come through turn 4. We're on the 1 to green. Pace car should be ducking on off, and we'll be getting this thing fired up.
Yeah, some nice looking cars under the lights here, Kurt. And I gotta say though that 31 though still catches my eyes, but they're off, Kurt. Looks like a pretty even restart here. Jovi Ray sticking with the 31 Cole Martin on the outside. We'll have to see if Jovi Ray can make it stick on the outside. He might be able to hold this going through turns 1 and 2 if he can keep it up. It looks like Cole will clear him though, Kurt, as they come off of turn 2. Cole Martin to the point.
Yeah, Cole Martin looking really good on this restart. Jovi Ray having a good start to this thing too. The 23 of Jose Ruiz moves up into third with Wesley Jeanette to his inside as we go through 3 and 4. Coming out of 3 and 4, it looks like it's going to be Cole Martin coming around to complete lap 1 of race number 10 at Auto Club for Velocity Motorsports.
Yeah, pretty smooth sailing right now. No one's really made any big moves on that restart. Everyone's pretty much held their spot all the way back pretty much to the top 6 right now. Still too wide though back there for about 8th place. Looks like the 38 and the 9, that's Nathan Line and Austin Walton that are fighting right now. But so far, Kurt, up front, we got the top 7 single file.
Yeah, and Chad, we could see it get single filed out pretty quickly. You don't see a lot of 2-wide racing outside of the first couple laps, and we're now into lap 2. Coming across the start-finish line, Cole Martin still leading. Car on the bottom, though, is trying to make a big move, and that's Jason Blaney moving up into the 2nd position.
Yeah, Blaney went to the outside around Jose Ruiz through turns 3 and 4, and it stuck. He had a lot of momentum, got around, obviously clearing Jose off of turn 4, and then got the momentum down the front stretch to get by Jovi Ray. Now he tries to sneak up in front of Jovi Ray. Jovi Ray knows that's early in the race, gives him a break right there, as the 22 of Blaney was really not clear there, but now Blaney's going to look to the outside of our pole sitter, Cole Martin, to try to take over that number 1 spot. Kurt, clean air here is definitely king when it goes to going through these corners, but you want to make these passes quick. You do not want to burn these Goodyears up too quickly, as it's going to hurt you longer in the run when we get, 20, 25 laps into this run, and pit stops still are, a handful of laps away.
Yeah, Jason Blaney, now our new leader here at Auto Club. Cole Martin moving to 2nd place. We've got 3rd, Jovi Ray. Jose Ruiz getting passed by Wesley Jeanette in 4th. Jose Ruiz slipping to 5th. And then you got Ryan Crooks in 6th, up 2 positions from the starting spot.
Yeah, the big mover, Kurt, of the race so far, though, is Tyler Belanger already under the top 10 after that disastrous qualifying effort, already making up some spots. But he was going to be careful, though, not to use those tires up too much. Like I was saying, you'll be bad fast running, qualifying laps this early, but it's going to hurt you later on in the run. And I think right now, Kurt, Jason Blaney, we've seen it all last season, where he would jump out to these giant leads running super quick lap times, and then the field would run him right back down before pit stops. And I think that's kind of what he's doing right now, as last time by Kurt, he ran a 40.5. That's only a 10th off of what the pole was, and we're already 5 laps in.
Yeah, Blaney known for that really quick short run speed, not really known for the long run speed. So um, I hear him shifting though, Shad. Is that something that can be done at this track? I didn't think it was something we'd see a lot of, but he definitely shifted or downshifted right before he entered turn one.
Yeah, that's something I did experiment with a little bit. I actually would, by doing that, was able to pick up some time, but obviously then later in my run, I just stayed in fifth gear, and that's when I ran my fastest lap time. But when I shifted, it was nice. Like, you didn't really have to let off too much. The engine, slowing itself down was, enough, and the car seemed to rotate really well. The only issue you had with it was when you make that shift on the straightaways, making that shift in the car's momentum, you'd lose a little bit. But through the turns, it felt really good. So not surprised that Blaney's out there doing this. That could be the reason why he's able to jump out to such a big lead. And also his teammate now, Kurt 74, Wesley Jeanette, has found himself up right behind that 22 in second place. So Field Up Motorsports trying to make an early statement, Kurt, here, jumping out to the lead.
Yeah, and if I'm looking at the lineup right now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 within the top 10. So Field Up Motorsports definitely coming up into the top 10 to make it a heavy listing up here. If they could get up here and get lined up, Shad, 3, 4, 5 deep, it could be spelling some trouble for the rest of the field. Almost like a Talladega, the more drivers you have that are on your team that are in a line, the better. And you talked about it early on, was if they could get lined up and pull away from everybody, it'd be hard to catch them.
Yeah, obviously, to get by cars, you need to fight one car at a time. If you got a car that's getting help with draft and you're trying to pass him, you're just not going to do it. These straightaways are so long. The draft is so huge here that, yeah, if you get a couple team cars up there working together, it's going to be hard for anybody to actually pass them down on the bottom, because there's just no momentum there on exit of the turns. But I just feel, Kurt, like right now, the 31, the 33, maybe that 2 of Ryan Crooks right now, they're just running a good pace right now, trying to save those tires for later on. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see those front 2 start to get reeled in and pass. But then again, they could have the pace this week. I'm not sure. I mean, we're going to find out here in probably about 10 laps for sure.
Yeah, we know that stage break is coming up on lap 55, so 28 to 30 laps is what I've been told most of the drivers telling me, and even you, Chad, said right around 30 laps. If they're able to hold that for it, we should see pit stops here within the next 15 laps or so to make it to that 55 mark. Do you try to short pit, Chad? Is that a strategy that can work out here? Because tire fall off is actually a pretty big deal for AutoClub because of the gritty grind-up surface that's on AutoClub. That's why NASCAR has stated multiple times that they didn't want to repave it, and then now they're going to destroy it and turn it into a short track or whatever they're going to do with it. But a lot of drivers liked that gritty surface because it put it in the driver's hands to conserve tire, to find the right line, the groove, to make up speed and things like that on this track. It was a great driver's track, and now it's going to be turned into a rubble pile and then turned into a short track. But with those tires being grinded off so much, you only get maybe 15, 20 laps at most, Shad, with these tires before it just becomes a tire that you can't really hold on to. You really got to baby the car, and you got to change your driving, going into the corners and coming off the corners, your acceleration points, your turning points, all of that changes throughout the run because of this surface changing the tires and wearing them so much. The second half of this stage, the second half of this race, Shad, is going to be about 80 laps. So we're going to see probably at least 2 stops in that second stage of this race. Drivers could be screaming for tires after those 25, 30 laps and then have to pit. They've only got 5 sets with the set they started with. So you're going to have to maybe conserve a set somewhere in there to be able to have a set in the pits just in case a late race caution comes out if we go green in the second stage. I've heard a lot of drivers even stating that they might just take fuel at the end of the second stage and stay on the old set of tires and hope for a caution 15, 20 laps into the run, if not go to an end of a fuel run and then short pit and try to come back out.
Yeah, I think for this first, stage being at 55, I'd come down lap 28. We heard 28 to 30 on lap fuel. So yeah, I'd come down lap 28 and then do another 27. That gets you to the end of the stage. Should be perfectly fine on fuel. And I don't think, if someone stays out till lap 30, I don't think the 2 laps fresher tires in the end is going to help you. I think it's actually going to hurt you when someone comes down 2 laps before you and your tires are 30 laps old and they're out here running, what could possibly be a second faster than you per lap. I think you just lose too much time. So if I see cars starting to come down pit road, I'm going to try to come down the same lap. If not, it better be that next lap, or else I think you're just going to be losing too much time.
Yeah, and looking up here, Shab, we've got about a 7-car breakaway from the rest of the group, and those 7 are pretty much single filed out. There's only 2 wide and almost 3 wide racing back in the back with 3 drivers back there. Connor Elliott, Dakota Ramsdale, and Ryan Horvath are 3 wide, Shab, back there for 15th, 16th, and 17th, somewhere in there. But the rest of the field's pretty single filed out. Even the guys behind that second grouping that are 2 and 3 wide, they're back there separated as well, with pretty good sizable breaks between each one of them. One of them being Chris Murphy and Jose Ruiz, that was up here in the front. He slipped all the way to the back, down 15 spots from the start of the race. He's all the way back to 19th, and still not looking good with Chris Murphy as well. You worked with him a little bit in practice. He ran a bunch of laps and could not find the feel for this track, which is surprising because this is a track I thought he would be good at.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Jose there. Qualified up in the top 5 and just has fallen like a rock. Not sure if he had a mishap. Of course, you lose that momentum here. It's huge. You'll definitely lose a ton of positions if you do. But yeah, that's a big surprise to see him almost getting back towards the end of the field. And then, Chris Murphy, like you said, struggled. I think he qualified 21st or something like 22nd. Has only been able to make up a couple positions. I don't know. I guess Murphy just hasn't gotten the feel of it. Maybe by running more and more laps, learning from guys in front of him, maybe he'll get the hang of it later on. But right now, Kurt, we got 7 cars and then the rest of the field. And these 7 cars, Kurt, lap times have fallen off by about 3/10. Jason Blaney that last time by running a 40.7. We seen earlier at the start of this run, he was running 40.4s. So yeah, he's I think the tires are finally starting to maybe give up a little bit.
Yeah, the fastest lap of the race so far is a 40.291, and that's by Austin Walton, who's sitting in P4 right now in that 9-car, Shad. So his lap time that last time by was a 40.5. So there's a good telling difference of a 3/10 drop off from the fastest lap time. But he's in the draft, so that 40.5 still a little faster than what it could be if he was in the front. But Jason Blaney out here leading all these laps, Shad. Wesley Jeanette has closed in the gap on him, and as well as the other 4 drivers behind them, Ryan Crooks is bringing that whole group up to the back bumper of the 74 of Wesley Jeanette. I told you that I thought Ryan Crooks would be the driver to watch because I've watched him on so many different tracks, and he called it out last week at the end of the post race that AutoClub was his favorite track, and he was voting for AutoClub to come in instead of Bristol. He got his wish. AutoClub's here, and here he is in the top 3. It's not going to be a surprising fact for me to see him at the end of the night in that top 3, if not a winner.
Yeah, I mean, a good qualifying effort as well, into the top 10. So didn't have to get, past too many cars to get up to P3. And we've seen Ryan Crooks be able to save tires and be quick, whether it's short run or long run. So, it doesn't surprise me that he's up there, but I still see that 31, 33, Kurt. They're right there too. I think it's just who wants to save the tires, who wants to give up a position. And by giving up that position, obviously you can save those tires other than just sitting there fighting for it. But last time by, Kurt, our leader, Jason Blaney, ran a 40.9. That's already a half second slower than what he was running earlier. So those tires are starting to feel it here on lap 20 for those guys that I think went out there with a little bit faster of an intent, to run them. And Kurt, 31, Cole Martin gets by the deuce of Ryan Crooks right there back up to P3, and he's looking to the outside right now. Wesley Jeanette for P2. Is Jeanette going to get any help from his teammate? It doesn't look like it. Blaney stays high. And now Cole Martin's going to look to the inside. So, Kurt, I think that 31 was saving those tires. And now he's realized it's go time. And he looks to be extremely fast right now.
Yeah, he's running about the fastest lap times of these top 7. What was interesting there is the pass on Ryan Crooks. Ryan went really high on track to get a big run of momentum, which allowed Cole to go underneath him. When they got to the straightaway, Ryan pushed the 31 with all that momentum all the way up to the back bumper and past the 74, which then shot the 70 or 31 in between this 22 and 74 to take over the lead. But 22 is coming back hard on the outside. 2 is now down, pushing that 31 again.
Yeah, it almost looked like the 22 there. Looked like the 22 there, Kurt, might have clipped the wall a little bit there on the exit of 4, getting by the 31 of Cole Martin. Now he's getting double teamed by Cole Martin and that deuce of Ryan Crooks. 3 wide, Kurt, for the lead.
Yeah, 3 wide down the backstretch we go. Cole Martin, 22, Jason Blaney, and the 2 of Ryan Crooks. They get back to double file. We're 2 wide, Chad, for the front 2 rows. And Jovi Ray is just sitting here watching to see what is going to come up with this. We're 22 laps into the run, Chad. We've got about 5-6 laps before we need to see probably the first green flag stops here. Who's going to be the first to come down? Would it be the leader? Would it be somebody in this grouping of top 7? Will it be somebody outside the top 7 who drops down to try to grab a couple laps of fresh tires? The fall off right now, Shad, if a 40.2 is the fastest, the leader Cole Martin just ran a 41.8, second just ran a 41.3, so you're looking at close to a second fall off.
Yeah, and Jason Blaney there, right there, Kurt, that last time by going on the front stretch, he cut off that 2 of Ryan Crooks. A little bit of contact, Ryan Crooks did end up getting out of it to allow him in. Blaney better not do that too many times. He's done that already to the 33 and also now the 2. He keeps doing it. He's eventually going to find trouble. And if we get later in this race, they're not going to let up. And, you know, they're just going to be all take. They're not going to give it to him anymore. And maybe he's trying to take advantage of people being friendly right now at the beginning of this race. But, Kurt, up front now, Jovi Ray and that 31 of Cole Martin, we've seen them kind of running their pace, giving up a few positions here and there, but now they are finding themselves back up front, and Ryan Crooks, Kurt, now has fallen to the back of this lead pack, so Ryan Crooks might have burned up his stuff, Kurt, trying to get up to the front.
Well, I think when he led off to let Blaney in, when Blaney cut him off, it took a lot of his momentum, and you know AutoClub, Shad, if you let up in one corner, it takes a lap to get that momentum back. So he started losing positions, and he was 2 wide, stuck on the very bottom of the track. So the 22, 33, and 74 were able to go by, but caution's out. And I think it's going to involve the 13 in this one. And the 35 of David Mayo, who just got hit again, I believe, by Papa Bear, as Papa Bear went through there. We'll go back and take a look, Chad, but I believe this is involving the 13 and the 35 of David Mayo and Dakota Ramsdale also. All right, so we're on with Dakota Ramsdale here, and I'm looking to see if Brian Phillips is behind Dakota Ramsdale. David Mayo is in front, so we'll go with David Mayo to see what happens here. They come off down the backstretch. He's side by side with Jose Ruiz. They go into turn 3. He's up high, really high. They're 3 wide with Chris Murphy and Dakota Ramsdale on the 35 of David Mayo. David Mayo comes off the corner. Just a little loose, Chad. Doesn't get into anybody. Still down the front stretch. Dakota Ramsdale comes up, clips the 35, turns the 35 sideways. Dakota Ramsdale goes into the inside wall. 35 goes to the outside wall. Brian Phillips hits the 35 head on. And then the 71 coming through, I think, clips the 35.
Yeah,
barely.
I think it's the 71's car on that right front. You can to get that arc into the turn being the bottom car, and just a misjudgment by Dakota Ramsdale right there. The 35 was a little lower off the wall than I think what he probably expected. And when he went up to try to get that arc into the turn, 35 was right there. And unfortunately, he clipped him and probably definitely a fast repair for that 35. Six car, Kurt. Um, Six just kind of, I think he's fine. He didn't touch anything besides the 35. But yeah, good racing though so far, Kurt. And this puts us right on the edge of making it to the stage from here.
I don't see anybody coming down just for fuel at the end of the stage now.
No.
There was some strategy talk of just going for fuel at the end of the stage to conserve a set of tires, but I don't think that's going to be something to do because you're going to be on 25 lap old tires or 28 lap old tires at that point. We got Commando Griff out there saying, let's go Mike Campbell. Yeah, Griff, Papa Bear, he's back in 19th right now. He was just almost involved in that caution. But looking pretty good out there with the Nigu paint scheme in that 71. That's a new sponsor for Papa Bear, Team Nigu. Out there, doing everything they can to raise money for kids' cancers and things like that. It's a new sponsor for Turn Down For What that Papa Bear runs as owner. But it's pretty cool.
Who painted that?
Yeah, some guy. I don't know. Some guy in the booth, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Did a really good job, though. I mean, that thing's legit.
Yeah.
Well, Kurt, we were talking about how guys were going to save that set of tires. 31, 33 just did it because they did not take tires right there. Fuel only for our front two. Jason Blaney, though.
Sure they didn't
Ryan
take rights?
Crooks, no tires at all. I did not see those cars come up in the air at all. But I did see it on the 22 for sure. And I'm guessing since he beat the 2 out, that means the 2 probably took it as well.
Yeah, 2 was in for 13.9 seconds, so I'd say he definitely did it. I'm surprised on the fuel, though, Shad. 8.5 seconds doesn't sound long enough to get a full tank of fuel. Can they make it?
Yeah, if you're just taking fuel, your stop's only going to be 8 to 9 seconds.
Okay.
Your fuel is actually done before the tires are when you make these pit stops. So, yeah, front
crazy.
two fuel
iRacing
only
has not fixed that pit stop times because we're seeing a NASCAR 10-second pit stops.
Yeah, for fuel and tires.
Yeah.
So
they're still getting 15s.
Yeah, they're still going by the old, the Gen 6 cars where it was, if you got a 13, 14-second pit stop, you were doing really well. But yeah, Kurt, up front, I predict these front two are gonna fall like a rock. Probably not going to get stage points with everyone else behind him getting tires, but 31 of Cole Martin's going to try to hold on to it as long as he can, but I expect all these guys with newer tires to just blow the doors off of these front two, even on the bottom lane here.
Cole Martin holding it off right now on the bottom. Jason Blaney, though, coming up into P2 underneath Jovi Ray. He's going to set his sights on that 31. Ryan Crooks also jumping up here, Shad. If he took 4 tires, him and Blaney both jumping into second and third. Jovi slipping to fourth. But Cole Martin's looking okay, though, Shad, on those old tires. We'll see if he can hold off this group of guys coming behind him on fresh tires. But you said, clean air was king. He's up front with the clean air. He's got a little bit of a gap on the guys with fresh tires. It might take a couple of laps for those guys with fresh tires to come in on those fresh tires to be able to make up time.
Yeah, that's the thing with the fresh tires. Like I said in the notes for tonight, that they're tight, center and loose off. So once these, and we got contact curve between the front two, 22 and 31. 22 gets into the back left rear of the 31, not realizing that 31's braking point is obviously a little sooner with those older tires. Everyone able to keep it though, and Cole Martin was able to hang on to the lead there for a minute until Ryan Crooks just took it. But back to the point, Kurt, those tires are going to take 3-4 laps to come in, so Cole would be able to probably hang on to the top 5. But once those tires come in, Kurt, I feel like everyone with the fresher tires is just going to run by him, as we've already seen Jovi Ray, Kurt, fall back to 7th place right now. Oh, no, never mind. Wrong car. He's 5th place right now.
And Chad, is this a smart move to hold on to a set of tires by doing it right now on the caution lap? Even if we would have had green flag stops there, would you have thought to do just fuel and get to the end of the stage?
Well, I mean, they're gonna find out.
I think green would be a little easier.
How much fresher tires really help you. If this comes down to say 5 to go, we get a caution. Are the new tires really gonna help? Right now, it doesn't look like they're all that much better. And we've ran 4 laps right now, and the Cole Martin's still hanging on to 4th place currently. It goes to show you that if there's 2 laps left, you got old tires, they come down, their tires aren't going to come in time. So it's something they're learning. But then again, if there's 15 laps left and everyone else doesn't have tires, you come in. By that time, your tires will have came back in, and theirs are going to be mighty old. So it's good if it plays out like that, but you're hoping for that late caution, and obviously it's never good to take a set home. So I don't know.
I feel like Ryan Crooks and Jason Blaney are loving those fresh tires right now, with Wesley Jeanette as well, making it way up through there. And Austin Walton in the 9, Chad, making it into the top 5, currently sitting P4. Brandon Watkins also in that number 44 new paint scheme this week, jumping up into P5, up 8 spots since the start of the race here. He's looking for some stage points, and so is Ryan Crooks and Jason Blaney. Cole Martin has been the most dominant stage winner. Nick Gowan won last week's stage, but is not here this week. If Cole Martin does not finish in the top 10, Chad, as he's at risk right now, sitting in P7 with some guys behind him on fresh tires, if he doesn't finish in the top 10, we could have a whole new group of guys getting stage points.
Yeah, I think if he can hang on to the top 10 and get at least 1 stage point, it's a win. If he falls out of the top 10 and doesn't get any stage points in his current, position as far as the points, then, that's a big loss. He was up front, definitely looking like he was going to get some pretty good stage points. If he falls out and doesn't get any I feel like this gamble is not worth it.
He does save on to the extra set to take into the next stage. So
that
if
is
he's focused
true
on the win and not the stage win, because he has multiple stage wins.
Yeah, but those stage points, Kurt, once you get them, they can't take them away. You can be out front in a late caution, you can get wrecked and lose that finishing order to where you might have been hoping you had some stage points, but he's still hanging on right now, Kurt, but there's a group of cars behind him and Jovi Ray that are just desperately trying to get by them. One of them being the 23 of Jose Ruiz, and then he's got his teammate 2 cars back of Chris Murphy now finally starting to make his way up towards the top 10. 3 wide battle though, Kurt, but the front 6, Kurt, are just gone. It goes to show you how much Cole Martin and Jovi Ray are holding this group up.
Yeah, they're definitely, I think, going to fall out of the top 10. The gaggle of cars around them, they're already slipping, and Cole Martin's going to move, I think, back to P10 or P11 after this lap.
Yeah, I mean, the leaders the lap before Kurt ran a 40.3. So the tires for the guys that took new ones, they're in. And these older tires just cannot run that pace. We've seen the drop-off, Kurt, of about, 9/10 there towards the end of that run from what they were running. And, I think right now the only thing that's saving the 31 of Cole Martin and Jovi Ray is the draft. I think if they were to lose this draft, they would just fall. But, currently they're able to hang on to it, but not getting stage points, Kurt, I think is...
I don't think Cole's hanging on to it.
Yeah,
He's back
I think it's
to
just
P18, P19.
Yeah, I just think it's an unnecessary risk. You were pretty much running good enough to where I could say you could guarantee yourself some stage points and try to make up some more ground, with only, next week being the last race of the regular season. He needs every point he can get to get himself into that top 12. And pretty much taking yourself out of any extra points that you could get.
Jovi, on the other hand, is pretty secure into the playoffs, so
yeah,
he didn't have much to lose there. And with Nick Gowan out tonight and Nathan Mon out tonight, he's going to probably pass at least Nate Mon. He's only really battling Jose Ruiz for the points for the top 4.
Yeah, and Jose right now, I'm not sure if he's running his pace or just out there struggling as he finds himself back there in front of Cole Martin. So, yeah, Jose Ruiz qualified
223, Chef.
What?
There's 2 drivers with that same paint scheme.
That's the 10.
Yeah, Jose Ruiz and the 10 are both running the same.
I thought that was Jose. My bad, Jose.
Jose is actually in front of the group that is Cole Martin is chasing. So
I thought the numbers looked weird on it when I seen it the second time.
Yeah, Jose is battling right now for P8 with Isaac Rock.
Yeah, looking under 38 of Nathan Line though for P7. But yeah, Kurt, it is a group, and but they are about 4 seconds behind the front 6. So that front 6 is checked out.
Wesley Janetchak going to the front. That was the driver you called out. Jason Blaney, his teammate, right behind him. Ryan Crooks also tagged right onto the back bumper of the 22. The 9 of Austin Walton hooked onto the top 3, as well as the 44, and Tyler Belanger, Chad, up plus 12, sitting here in the P6 spot, chasing the top 5.
Yeah, Belanger, I mean, he had speed in practice. He was second quickest for a long time. Just messed up in qualifying. It happens. I'm not the greatest qualifier either. But, you know, sitting there and working his way up methodically. And caution is out, Kurt. I heard the 7 of Chris Murphy come across, and he is sideways on the track currently.
Yeah, not a good season for our champ from last season. So we'll go back and take a look, see what happened to Chris Murphy. And it looks like the 45 also involved in that. He was just battling with Jose Ruiz. So we'll go back and take a look and see what happened to this group of cars back here. But, Shad, that's going to put us right about 13 laps shy of the stage. Do the guys who didn't take tires 15 laps ago, do they come in and take tires now and try to make their way back up through?
Yes, I would.
Me too.
Because when we go back green, we're probably going to have about 10 laps to go before the stage. I don't think that'll hurt them as bad if they just pit now and don't pit at the end of the stage, or just take fuel only at the end of the stage. I don't think it'll hurt them as bad as what it's hurting them now, being that their tires are 27 laps old compared to where it might be like 9 or 10 if they stay out at the end of the stage. So I would come now. You know, 10 laps is enough time to where their tires are going to come in. They might be able to start making up some time. But Kurt, watching this replay of this wreck, I don't know if you want to go through it.
Yep, we're looking at it now from the chopper view. The 7's down on the bottom and is 3 wide, almost 4 wide. The 26 of Ryan Horvath comes down and bumps the 45, bumps the 7. The 7 comes back up the track into the straightaway and clips the 45. Turning himself around. I don't know if Chris didn't see the 45 or expected the 45 to go back up the track along with him, but came right up the track and clipped the 45 and turned himself right into the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what... He gave the 2 above, he gave the 2 above him plenty of room and just gets caught up in someone smacking the wall and, you know, hitting other people. And then, you know, he's trying to get back up on the track. I mean, I wouldn't expect the 45 to be that low on the straightaway. I would expect that car to be back up. You can't see that. You know, you can't see that to your right in these cars. I mean, unless you actually hit the button and look to the right, or you got a, you know, Oculus or something on. So yeah, I wouldn't expect that either. I would have tried to come back on the track, but the 45 was down there running the paint. So. Not a good season for Chris, no. But the good thing is I don't think there was a whole lot of damage on that car from what I could tell.
Within the top 10 too, so
yeah,
right on the cusp of top 10.
Yeah, I see the car looking pretty good from what I'm seeing. I mean, the front, I don't see nothing sticking out of place. Back, same thing. So he might have got away with, you know, a little bit of misfortune there. and at least hung on to that fast repair.
And I do see Cole Martin came down pit road. So did Jovi Ray and Chris Murphy there. So those guys are going to be on fresh tires to come back out. But we'll pull Wesley Jeanette right now. We'll talk to Wesley Jeanette in the 74, who's our current leader. Wesley, you got a copy of this Swats and Shadowlike in the booth.
Yes, sir. How you guys doing?
We're doing good, Wesley. This 74 admin box silver paint scheme you got going is looking pretty good up front. You're battling your teammate again. You two had a little bit of a run-in last week, as well as John Tiller and a couple other of your teammates. Are you guys going to be able to play nice up here on the front row?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're good, man.
You guys seem to wreck each other more than anybody else last week, so.
I know, right? Fueled up on fueled up violence. That's what we like.
But you guys are coming to 1 to green. How's the track feeling, and what's the strategy calls here when it comes to the stage break?
Track feels it's a little tighter than this track normally is for me, but we're just gonna try to finish this stage off and see what we can do in the second half of the race.
Well, Wesley, real quick. You know, you and your teammate looked to have pretty decent cars on the long run. Maybe not as good as the guys that were behind you, but you guys also went out there and stretched your lead a little bit. What'd you guys learn after that? After that first stint there, on what you can go forward in the race with?
Yeah, I was actually pretty happy with the way my car was wearing. If I could have got out front, I don't think we would have got caught like we did. But I think Blaney had a little incident earlier that caused his rears to get a little hot. So,
all right, well, we'll send you back down to Fuel Motorsports. Good luck.
All right.
All right, Chad, we're getting back into the live action here for Velocity Motorsports. Race number 10 at Auto Club. We're back under green. 74 going to go to the outside. Ryan Crook's down on the bottom. 22 on the outside of the two. We've only got a handful of laps left, Chad. These guys are on a little older tires. That group of guys that did come down and grab a set of tires, Chad, are coming up from the back. Can you make it up into the top 10 from where Cole Martin and Jovi Ray are currently sitting in 19th and 20th on fresh tires in 9 laps?
Well, his problem right now is he got by a few cars, but now there's quite a big gap to get to the rest of this field. I don't know, with those tires, taking a few laps to wear in, he's only, I think, going to lose time to the group in front of him.
I'm wondering if he's conserving, thinking he won't take tires at the end of the stage.
Well, yeah, that could be the thing, too. How valuable are those stage points to him? If they are valuable, then I would think in like 2 or 3 laps, we're going to start to see him start making some serious time. If they're not valuable, I would just run a decent pace, save those tires, don't pit, and start stage, second final stage, whatever you want to call it, out front. Track position, we've already seen is pretty key. Kurt, we got contact. 74 Wesley Jeanette, Kurt, got tight underneath the 2. They made a little contact. 74 got a little loose because the 88, clipped them with the momentum slowing down. But they did a fantastic job of saving it, Kurt. That 74 car was basically sideways there for a minute. And Wesley Jeanette, with the skill he has, able to hang on to that car. Only loses about 3 positions.
Yeah, and I just saw the 53 sideways there coming off of turn 4. He wiggled both ways, and I saw both sides of that car as he was sideways, but he hung on to it too. But up front, Ryan Crook's pulling away, Chad, with now 8 laps to go before the end of the stage. Brandon Watkins moving up into P3. Austin Walton now in 4th. Jose Ruiz, our silent assassin, sitting in P5. Tyler Belanger sitting in 6th. Wesley Jeanette slips from the lead all the way back to 6th.
Yeah, Kurt, look at the back of the pack. That 31 car's falling off.
I think
he's trying to save those tires and, start stage 2 out front and not have the tires that bad. Actually, they'll be really good on the start of the stage because his will have the heat and be worn in. And they'll actually go through a little bit of a cool cycle being on pace lap. So, his tires
has to come in for fuel, though.
Well, yeah,
everyone's going to have to pit twice in the second stage, so he's not going to want to have to pit 3 times.
Let's see. If they max, they could go 60 laps. They pit on. Yeah, I think everyone's going to have to pit probably twice. Yeah, I think everyone's going to have to pit at least twice.
Yeah, so he's going to have to come down for just fuel. But that should still put him up front in the pack.
Yeah, it should. I mean, he's going to have like a, 4 second stop. Everyone else is going to be, 13, 14 seconds. So he should gain the track position. We've seen that car's good out front. He's fast. And I think his tires will actually be really quick on the short run to start off the stage. It's just how well he can maintain that speed once everyone else's tires come in. But up front, Ryan Crooks has a slim margin right now over that 22 of Blaney, who's showing great speed tonight. But I got to give a shout out to that 9, Kurt, Austin Walton. He's had nothing but bad luck also this season. And he's showing he came to play tonight. Been up there pretty much in the top 5 pretty much the entire race so far. And that 44 of Brandon Watkins also showing good speed tonight.
Yeah, both of them showing really good speed. Austin Walton known for a good short run speed, just like Motorsports last season. He had some really good runs where he was super fast in the short run, just didn't have the long run speed. But tonight, I mean, we've only had really one good long run, and he is up here in the top 5 battling. We're 3 wide for back for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Coming to lap 52, Shad, as we're coming off of turn 2 here. We come back around, we'll go to 52. That'll be 3 laps to go in the stage. Ryan Crooks trying to do a little bit of breaking of the draft up there. It didn't look like it really worked, but the top 2 are pulling away from the rest.
Yeah, all these guys, battling for 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever position it is, they're all fighting side by side. And, that's what I was talking about before the race is you get the battle and getting side by side. If you can get out of that pack, you can pull away. And that right now is what the front 2 are currently doing. Ryan Crooks, though, starting to kind of separate himself from Blaney in 2nd. As, for 3rd right now, they're 2 wide with the 74 of Jeanette and the 44 of Brandon Watkins.
Yeah, and Ryan Crooks does not have a stage win this season, Chad. As fast as he's been and the 2 wins he's got, he does not have a stage win. He was leading a lot of laps at Texas, wound up having some technical difficulties, and blinked out of that race and missed the first 2 races of the season. So essentially,
missed
look at
the wreck, Kurt. Exit of 4, 74, 44. Caution is out. This should end the stage.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty big hit for those guys. And we just talked about Austin Walton having a really good race and Brandon Watkins having a really good race. And both of them getting involved in this incident. We'll go back and take a look as it's about a 4 or 5 car pileup back there. All right, so we'll take a look here from the far cam for the 44, the 74, and the 9 that triggered this caution here. We're on the 44 right now. Looks like he comes up, tags the wall just a little bit, comes down, clips the 74, gets into the 9. 42 also involves 74 and 44 dragging the wall. 44 just continuing to push that 74. Feel like we just seen that a couple of weeks ago in real life, Chad. 9 spun around on the front stretch as well. 42 going to be involved. 88 might have had a little bit of touch there with the 9 and the 42, but it doesn't look like he has much damage.
Yeah, that's I know what happened there. So what happened, the 44 comes down through turns 3 and 4. 74 touches him. I'm guessing he probably thinks the 74 came up, but realistically the 44 was coming down too much. They touch, it sends the 44 up. 44 just barely clips the wall, and then on exit of 4, the 74 Kurt comes up a little bit, and there is a massive net code between those 2. And obviously the 44 I don't think was going to give any breaks because he probably feels like he was done wrong. And that puts them both in the wall. And then the 9 of Austin Walton is just an innocent bystander. Trying to avoid it, comes down and it bangs off the side of the 40 of Johnny D. Johnny D does a great job to keep it off the wall. But the 9 then gets tagged by the 26, who just... I've seen it a lot, Kurt, this season. The 26 just having a hard time slowing down when guys are wrecking.
Yeah, we've seen him involved in several incidences, under speed and off the gas pedal as well. So I'm sure the admins will take a look at all the different bumps and bangs throughout the night and try to remedy it. But Yeah, we had a lot of cars coming down pit road there. The 15 was staying out. Looks like he's going to wind up coming down pit road. I don't know if that was just a miss or what, but he's going to wind up coming down pit road now. A couple other guys coming down as well, David Mayo. But Shad looking out front, Ryan Crooks going to be your leader. Jose Ruiz is going to be sitting second. Jason Blaney third, the 45 of Isaac Brock. And then Cole Martinshad coming out and being P5. He was only in the pits 5.3 seconds, so that was as long as he needed to grab some fuel. Same with Isaac Brock. Both of them only in the pits for 5.4, 5.3 seconds to grab just enough fuel and come back out.
Yeah, I think this actually plays right into the hand of, the 31. Unfortunately, he's not going to get the lead with the end of the stage being the way it is. And he came down to top off fuel. But he did make up a lot of track position by just coming down and getting fuel. Now, granted, his tires have about 7 green flag laps on them. But he was babying the heck out of them. So I don't think his tires are going to be that bad. Obviously, with the caution laps now, his tires shouldn't be too terrible here. And he was really good on the long run, that first long stint that we had. So I think, Cole Martin should be okay here. The 45 Isaac Brock, he was not saving his tires. He may be in a little bit more of a pickle. But those two cars should be quick here on this start because their tires already have heat in them. And everyone else, they're probably going to be a little tight having these fresher tires until they get like 3 or 4 laps on them.
Well, Shad, we were expecting the stage break to be at lap 55, and then we would have a caution thrown. What does this do for the fuel mileage? We thought it would be, a long green after the stage break, but you're adding a few laps now because we're going to go green on 56 rather than 58 or 59 if the caution would have been thrown at 55.
So if you think 30 laps, that would put him at 86. 30 more would put him at 116. 30 more from there, they got plenty to get to the end. So I think it's still 2 stops from here. Obviously, though, you're going to want to try to stretch it. These first 2 runs to, 28, 29, you're definitely going to have to get it. You can't be short pitting, 25, 26, or else you might not make it.
Well, we got Tyler Taylon out there for Velocity Motorsports Twitch page saying, go get them, guys, or go get them, boys. Glad to see Tyler back in the chat. Glad to see him back for Velocity Motorsports, and hopefully we'll see him out on track soon. But, Shad, I'm noticing a lot of new contenders up here in the top 10. We got Isaac Brock making an appearance. We got John Tiller making an appearance. Nathan Line, Bill Hills, Dakota Ramsdale, Ryan Horvath, and Sean Walton all making a rise up into the top 12.
Yeah, 31 Cole Martin. Kurt started the restart in 5th, has already made his way up to 3rd, and is probably looking for 2nd here really quick, as those tires, like I said, they're worn in. 45 as well. They already got heat and a few laps on them. Everyone else, though, trying to wait for those tires to come in and trying to hang on to them as they're tight and through the center and loose off. But Cole Martin, we've seen it, Kurt, did a great job just taking his loss for the stage and saving those tires for this reason. And he's on the same fuel strategy as everyone else. He just got to make sure he can make those tires last when everyone else goes to pit.
Well, Shad, let's do a quick break and we'll come back to more action at the track. We're 58 laps into 140 tonight for Auto Club, race number 10. We'll be right back. You won't miss any of the action. All right, we're back after the break for Velocity Motorsports, race number 10 at Auto Club, and not a whole lot has changed yet. We've got Ryan Crooks and Jason Blaney still battling for the lead side by side up front. Wesley Jeanette now sitting third. Bill Hills has climbed up into the top 5, Chad, sitting P4 of 15 spots. I seen him loose there sideways. I seen both sides of his car at one point, and he is up here into the top 5. Cole Martin, Chad, after doing that unusual pit stop and then basically coasting to the end of the stage there to save tire, is still sitting in the top 5, so it looks like that's going to work out for him with getting the stage points and the positioning. Jovi Ray up into P7. Chris Murphy, Chad, making a rebound into P8. Nate Line sitting P9, and John Tiller rounding out the top 10. But Chad, this battle for the lead has been heavy with this 2 and 22 and 74.
Yeah, actually, last time by, coming out of turn 4, there was contact between the 2 and 22. 2 got a little tight underneath the 22 and made a little contact with the left side of the 22. Got him the 2. He got a little loose by doing that and allowed the 74 to get a good run. 74 tried to go low to get by him, just could not complete that pass. Like you said, Bill Hill's now up into 4th. 31 of Cole Martin with those older tires by about 6 green flag, 7 green flag laps on him. Still hanging on strong, a lot better than he did last time with 27 laps on those tires. So he's back in this show for sure. Then you got 23 Jose Ruiz hanging on tight. And Jovi Ray finally making it back up in the top 10 as well, Kurt. We've seen him on the same strategy as that 31 machine. The 31, though, with the moves he made, was able to get up into the top 10 faster. But now Jovi obviously back up in there, and then like you said, Chris Murphy making a rebound after getting caught up in others' mess, and maybe now finally learning the track, has crawled himself into 8th place, and they got a little bit of a gap now on 9th with John Tiller, and now Johnny D has made it up into the top 10.
It only took Murphy 71 laps to figure out the track, apparently. So I'm glad to see him up here, maybe to get some good points at the end of the night if he can survive and stay up here in the top 10. And be a good finish night for him. He needs to have a good rebound because he's not collecting any stage points, Chad, with being wrecked most of the race. It's really hurting his points. And even though he's climbed up in the top 10 in the points, he doesn't have very many stage points, and he doesn't have any playoff points either, which he had last season with his one win. It gave him some extra bonus points there to go into the playoffs, and we've only got 2 races now with this one and next week before we get into that playoff run, and those playoff points and bonus points are definitely going to come on and be helpful to stay into the top 12 and to have a good start into the playoffs, because Nick Gowan and Cole Martin and Ryan Crooks are leading the way with the most stage points and playoff points for the playoff run. So it's going to get interesting when we get down to the nitty-gritty after next week. I think next week at Las Vegas, Jack, could become very, very aggressive for a lot of drivers to get into that top 12 at the end of the night.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Chris Murphy still has not had a clean race yet this season, but has come up with some top 10 finishes. You know, last week was involved in like 4 wrecks, still came away with a top 10. And now this week, same thing, involved in a wreck, finds himself up in the top 10. But Kurt, last time by, Ryan Crooks finally made the pass on Jason Blaney. Got a great run coming out of turn 4. Side drafted that 22 down the front stretch and then dove it down to the bottom once he slowed up that 22 at the side draft, and was actually able to clear him before they got into turn 1. So great move by Ryan Crooks to take that lead and get that fresh air. But now he's got 2 teammates behind him, and we've seen Wesley Jeanette, Kurt. I think he's the better of those 2 Fueled Up Motorsports up front right now as far as on the long run, with his teammate being that 22 of Jason Blaney.
I would agree. I think I don't want to say this, but I feel like Wesley Jeanette's a little timid when it comes to racing next to his teammate. I see Jason Blaney making a lot more aggressive moves than I see the 74 make. And sometimes that helps the 22, sometimes it hurts the 74, or hurts the 22. But I don't see the 74 making those moves. It's more of a casual, just ride along, make the passes. You don't see him making those big dives and slides and passes that the 22 makes. So I don't know if he ever gets the advantage of having a little bit more aggression like the 22 has. He doesn't obviously get the downside of it, but the positive side of the aggression definitely helps the 22 and hurts the 74 because he doesn't use it.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Blaney, I don't really ever see him just sit there and ride. He's always kind of making moves, trying to get to the front. Never really just rides it out. To where I see Wesley doing that. But something I'm pretty still amazed, Cole Martin with those older tires hanging on strong up here. Almost made a pass.
Contact.
Yeah,
3 wide for the lead. 74 going to take advantage.
Yeah, 22 got tight trying to make that pass on the bottom side. Came up into that 2, almost put him in the wall. Now the 22 cuts off the 23 again. That's twice now I've seen him do that to Jose Ruiz. Jose is not going to be too kind to that probably here the next time. And now Jose 3 wide as the 31 of Cole Martin goes to the outside.
I think the 23 lifted.
Yeah, that's that momentum I was talking about. If you have to lift, you lose it. And these cars we've seen in real life, you have to lift, you lose spots. And unfortunately for Jose, it's going to probably cost him at least 1, maybe 2 spots. But look at Cole Martin. Older tires now going for P2.
Yeah, I think those tires have all equalized.
Yeah, and that Cole Martin has definitely got the car on the long run as he clears that 22 going off into turn 3. Cole Martin, Kurt, looking like the car to beat, in my opinion.
I can't say that for sure because the 2 looks really good. But those both, they look really good for short run and long run. Cole just, I think, is a little better with the long run, but he's had to come for a little further. Ryan's been up front almost all night. But the rest of the field, I mean, Jose, like you said, Chad, he's not an aggressive driver either. He's more timid, but I call him that silent assassin where he always winds up in the top 10 at the end of the race, but you never really talk about him because he doesn't really make those big moves or have, big moves happen or anything around him. He just is there. And it bodes well for him because it puts him towards the end of the race in the top 10. He's sitting currently second in the points. He'll close the gap on Nick Gowan tonight. He's had a good run so far. If he comes away with a win tonight, Chad, that could be big for him to go into the playoffs with next week also because we may see Nick Gowan miss next week. So if Jose has a good night tonight or wins this race tonight and then comes out next week and has a really good run or wins next week, we could see Jose possibly pass Nick Gowan for the lead, because Nick only has a 50-point lead. If Jose got playoff if he got stage points tonight, which I think he was in the top 10 or close to it, then he's gaining points that you can't get in position. You have to get them in the stage. So if he can collect as many points as he can tonight and then come out next week with Nick possibly missing next week as well, because he had told us that he was possibly going to miss the next 2 weeks before we start the playoffs, it could be a chance that Jose comes back and takes the lead before we enter the regular season.
Yeah, for sure. 50 points is not a lot to make up. I mean, to get 25 a race is definitely doable, and getting some stage points obviously helps that cause. So Jose Ruiz could be our points leader going off into the playoffs, which would definitely help getting those extra playoff points for being the regular season champion,
especially with no stage wins and no regular season wins either. He's got nothing as far as those kind of playoff points. A win would definitely help him, and winning the regular season would definitely help him for getting those bonus points. Well, look at Murphy though, Chad, coming through the bottom. He's moved up to P7, and he's kind of trailing right now, right behind Jovi Ray, and could be battling for P6 here. So big night for those guys coming up through with their other teammate John Osborne not here tonight. Those two have worked their way up. We got a lot of teammate situation going on up here. We've got Cole Martin and Jovi Ray teammates in the 22, turning the 31
again.
Wow.
22, awfully aggressive, almost turning that 31 machine.
He turned him. He was sideways. I think that'll be the save of the race. I seen the numbers 31 on the side of the car, so he was definitely sideways.
And because of that slide, it's allowed Ryan Crooks to get out to 7/10 of a lead right now over this pack. And with them continue to stay side by side, it's only going to grow. But yeah, Jason Blaney, he came here to take names. And I hear guys starting to call out that they're pitting her. The pit window is definitely open. From here, you can definitely make it on one stop. So, I wouldn't be surprised if
one more stop.
Yeah, one more stop.
Okay.
So yeah, I think from here on out, it's going to be who decides to come down first and try to do the undercut.
John Tiller's coming down pit road now, I think. Yeah, John Tiller, Nate Line, and Mike Papa Bear Campbell all coming down pit road. 29 laps into this run.
Yeah, so
I think I just heard Jason Blaney as well.
29, they can definitely make it. And it sounded like somebody else up in our front pack just called
Jason
out.
Blaney and Johnny D both called it out.
Yeah, Blaney slowing down.
Yep, teammates coming. Bill Hill's also coming with him. I'm surprised Wesley Jeanette did not come, Shad. That's a teammate of those other two fueled up motorsports cars. And we've got a whole gaggle of cars behind them coming, the 44, the 9, and the 10 all coming as well.
Yeah, I heard the 74 call out. He's coming this time. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some other leaders also coming.
Ryan Crooks, I think, is calling it out now, too.
Yep, Ryan Crooks, there you go, calling it out. And Cole Martin as well.
Jovi Ray. They should all be pretty much calling it out. The interesting one is going to be Jose Ruiz and Chris Murphy, Shad. If they attest to stay out a lap or two longer, Jose, it might not benefit. No, Chris Murphy, it would have benefited because he could have got a point for leading a lap, which would help him. But I think coming down with the group also is probably a smart move.
Yeah, I mean, you would lose. They're running like 41-1, so the pace had definitely started to fall off quite a bit. So yeah, if you stay out one more lap, they're going to come out. They're going to run 7/10 faster than you probably. Well, no, not with the newer tires. They probably would have only ran about 4/10 faster than you with the new tires being tight. But still, I mean, he would have lost that pack that he was with. So right now, you don't want to make any bold moves. Maybe you want to get down towards the end. You could always flirt with two tires.
Trying to figure out what happened to the group that was with Jason Blaney when he pit. There's nobody around him. And he came out by himself. The first car that came out in that group.
Yeah,
And they're
Blaney's
all
actually
way
gonna,
behind him.
Blaney's actually gonna take the lead as he's going around the 74 and the 2 right now. They're not even up to speed, so Blaney's gonna come out here with a pretty good lead off the bat.
I'm kind of confused on what happened to Johnny D, Bill Hales, and a few others, because they definitely had a very slow stop compared to Jason Blaney, because they did not come out in anywhere near Jason Blaney. And yeah, he takes over the lead. Ryan Crook's now going to be second. Wesley Jeanette third. Cole Martin fourth. Chris Murphy, Chad, moving into fifth. Bill Hales sixth. Jose Ruiz seventh. Johnny D slipping to eighth, and John Tiller going to be ninth. Dakota Ramsdale will round out a top 10 right now, Chad, with 55 laps to go. We should have at least one more stop before we end this race, unless we have another caution out there. But Jovi Ray now coming out, Chad, from the pits. Looks like he may have got hit with a pit road penalty because he was on pit road for 54 seconds.
Yeah, I would say that's a penalty, and he's actually going to go a lap down because of it. Unfortunately for Jovi Ray, had finally worked his way back up with the lead pack, and unless we get a caution, his night could be over. Guys really starting to get spread out, so you know, this track, being that you can run 4 wide around here pretty easily, doesn't bode well for Jovi's chances of getting that caution, but you never know. And if he gets that caution, he's currently in that lucky dog position, so he would get that Alexandria Customs lucky dog recipient award.
And right now, Ryan Crooks just looks like he's kind of just stalking the 22. He's not really running, you know, super fast laps. He's running right around a tenth faster than the 22. He is within the draft, but he's definitely separated himself from the 74 and 31. He's closed the gap on the 22. Can he get up here and make the pass? He has 1 lap fresher tires than the 22 does, and we know Ryan is better at conserving tire than the 22 for long run speed.
Yeah, I was sitting there riding on board with that 22 of Blaney. Heard him shifting. Now, yeah, it helps your entry, but having that higher RPM, I would think it does not help your tires too well when it goes to as far as saving them. And, you know, with having to make that shift down the straightaway, which actually hurts you a little bit, I think Ryan Crooks is just able to hang on to that draft and run a pace where he knows he can save those tires. And the front fork are gone. They have definitely separated themselves over Jose Ruiz, Chris Murphy, and Bill Hales, who run 5th, 6th, and 7th. But yeah, right now Blaney out front, hanging on to about a half-second lead over that 2 car, and then you got the 74-31 behind them. And I think those 3 cars behind the 22 Kurt just running a pace to make these tires last as much as they can, as they know they got to go about the same distance, 28, 29 laps, to guarantee themselves making it to the end.
And I'm looking back through, it looks like Jose Ruiz, Chris Murphy, and Bill Hales have lined up behind each other to try to catch Cole Martin, Wesley Jeanette, Ryan Crooks, and Jason Blaney. But Jason Blaney pulling away a little bit on Ryan Crooks there, and Wesley Jeanette and Cole Martin trying to tag team each other and try to get up here to the 2 and the 22. But they're not really making up any time, Shad, so I don't know if it's just the timing. I'm looking at the lap times, and Ryan Crooks has run a 40.337. The rest of the drivers right around him all ran 40.4s, and not that far off of Ryan's time either. So they're all kind of running the same time. They're all kind of not looking like they're conserving, but maybe the drivers as themselves, as they're steering these cars, they're not really cranking them in. Ryan was running a little faster lap times prior, and we're inside Ryan's car right now as he's behind the 22. You can see his steering wheel. It's not really being cranked super hard, which definitely helps with conserving as you're riding behind. Plus, he's sitting in the draft, Shad, so that's going to help him as well with being pulled, but he's got the dirty air. He is ducking underneath the 22 through the corners to get some clean air on the nose of that car to help it turn.
Yeah, which is very smart. You definitely don't want to run behind the guy in front of you through these turns. Straightaways, yeah, you want that draft. But in these turns, if you're behind somebody, it's going to make your car extremely tight. And if you can just get a partial fender in clean air, it's such a big difference. The thing I'm shocked about, Kurt, is, you know, our front 7 pretty much all pitted together. 53 was with the 22. The rest were all when the 2 came down. But you look back, 23, the 7, the 53. They're back there 2 seconds behind third and fourth, and 4 seconds almost behind the front 2, which to me just says they had not as good of an exit lap. But then again, they could be saving. But Kurt, battle up front. Ryan Crooks takes the lead easily over that 22 of Blaney.
I don't think the 22 wanted to battle side by side there. I think he felt like he could get in tucked on the back bumper of the 2 and ride behind him to try to pull away from those other 2 that are in that grouping there. But I agree, Shad. I don't know if they're conserving a little bit to have a longer run car or whatever to make up time on the back end of this run. But they all did come 1 lap earlier than Jason Blaney, Johnny D, and John Tiller, and Brandon Watkins. So could they pit a lap earlier this time and still be able to make it to the finish line before the other guys do here? Do you try to pit with them? Do you try to go a lap longer? Do you try to pit, short pit them and pit a lap earlier than them and come back out just like Jason did? Because he pit a lap earlier than all these guys up front, and he was able to lead some laps there before Ryan caught him.
Well, I think if I'm Cole Martin and Wesley Jeanette, if I don't reel the 22 in by the end of this run, then whenever he pits, you need to pit too, because that 1 lap sooner that Jason Blaney pitted got him a big enough lead to where he was able to hang on to the lead for, about 10 laps before Ryan Crooks finally got around him. So, if Jason Blaney comes out to another, big lead because he pits 1 lap sooner, it could come down to the end to where it could just be Ryan Crooks and Jason Blaney battling this out. Wesley Jeanette and Cole Martin need to close that gap and make it a 4-car battle again. And then the 23 to 7, they also need to close that gap back up because they all pitted the same time. Currently, right now, Jose, Chris Murphy, the gap between them and the leader, it's pretty much stayed the same. They haven't closed it in. It's not really gaining. So, they need to maybe push the car a little harder or hope that they've saved enough to where later in this run they start making up some serious time.
Ooh, that 26 came close to the 22. I was hoping he was going to stop from coming down. He did. Now 22 diving in front of him as the 26 were staying side by side with him. That pulled the 22 Shad completely from the 2 and stretched the gap for the lead. That 26 has been in the way a couple times, and I think he actually wrecked the leaders at one point on one of the races. But
Rockingham.
It was a Rockingham? Okay.
Yeah, his wheel disconnected or something.
Yeah, it was close there, but he's trying to stay on the lead lap as well. He is 1 lap down. He's the current car in the spot for the Lucky Dog. So Austin Walton also 1 lap down. The 9 Shad that was up front. David Mayo also. Jovi Ray looks like he's out of the race, Shad.
Yeah, I didn't know this until you said it. Jovi Ray. I don't know if he just disconnected or I don't know.
That's odd. Andrew Bolander are only 2 that are completely out of the race. Brian Phillips is still out here on track, Shad, in the 13, so he could wind up passing, I think, the 33 of Jovi Ray, moving Jovi Ray to 22nd finish for the night, which is not good for 3rd place in the points. This was a night that he could have made points up on Nick Gowan as well. But it definitely helps the other guys that are in 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, and, 26, who just went a lap down, he's got a pretty good gap between him and the 9 of Austin Walton, who would be the next car 1 lap down. And then the 2, he's got about half a straightaway or so before he catches the next car to put a lap down. So the 9 of Austin Walton's got to make up some time if he wants to get into that Alexandria Customs Lucky Dog. If a caution would come out.
It looks like Austin's riding back here with Sean. Both Waltons running back here. They're running, let's see, Sean's running in 12th, and Austin is running in 19th. I will say, doing those Bubba Wallace paint schemes, real proud there. I had to throw it out there, sorry. I'm just saying. There is one Bubba Wallace screen there, paint scheme that's doing good, and that's Jose Ruiz up here in the top 5.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Austin Walton. He showed speed, got caught up.
A lot of speed.
And, in a wreck that wasn't his fault and just hasn't recovered, which is just a bummer for him. It's kind of been the story of his season. Has shown speed and just got caught up in messes. But now the leaders are coming up on the 13 to put him another lap down, as the 13 Kurt doesn't even have a front clip. Out here just doing laps, trying to gain whatever he can.
He was in the incident with Chris Murphy and the 45.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think he'd already used his fast repair. But, I mean, good on him to come out and continue to race, because one more lap and he's going to wind up passing Jovi Ray.
Yeah, and Kurt, I talked about Cole Martin and Wesley Jeanette. That lead now up to 2 seconds between Cole Martin and Ryan Crooks. So, Cole Martin's going to have to come down at least one lap sooner than Ryan Crooks. And Chris Murphy and them still hanging around the same gap. But, it's right there around 4 seconds. So they would have to come down probably 3 laps before Ryan Crooks, which would put them right on the edge of making it.
I was going to say, if the fuel run is 30, then you got to be pushing it to close the gap real close and try to short pit them. But the problem is, I don't know if they can short pit that much. It would be very close.
Thing. If Ryan Crooks goes to where there's only, say, 27 to go, you're going to have to be pitting 9 laps to be 3 laps ahead of him pitting to try to make up, 4 seconds. And Cole Martin and them, they're about 2 seconds. You could probably pit 1 lap and maybe get it close to where maybe you can at least sniff his draft and reel yourself back in. But it might take 2 laps, which would put them, 29 to go if Ryan Crooks waits until the full run, which I think would put them with about 27 to go.
Now, Shad, if Ryan sees Jason duck on down a lap early, because Jason
got to come the next lap.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to have to come the next lap, just like he did this last green flag pit stop, which then he was able to run Jason down within a handful of laps and take the lead. So I think Jason's in a good spot because he can let the 2 go past pit road and come down pit road himself, where he can make the 2 think he's staying out and then all of a sudden dive it down to the pit road and come down a lap early. But if you're Ryan, you have to come the next lap.
Yeah, and like Cole, he's far enough back to where if he sees that 22, if they see the 22 come, they can come too. The problem is, you come the same time. What Larry McReynolds would say, you do what the leader does. Yeah, so Cole Martin's gonna have to either come a lap sooner than Blaney, or try to stay out and have those 1 lap fresher tires like Ryan Crooks had and Cole Martin had too. But Ryan Crooks was just able to make it through the traffic better and take the lead. So Cole Martin, unfortunately, they're going to have to do something. And Cole Martin's kind of left his help. He's got about a half a second lead over Wesley Jeanette. And with those 2 not drafting together, it's all based on how good you're getting around here. And Cole Martin is kind of closing the gap a little bit, down to 1.6 now between him and Ryan Crooks. And looking a little farther back, Jose Ruiz, Chris Murphy, Bill Hells, Johnny D, all still about the same. So those 4 cars haven't really been able to make up any time on our leaders.
Yeah, and Jason is still shifting, Shad. I wouldn't think he'd be shifting this late into the run. But if he's used to it, then that's his rhythm that he's gotten into. He knows where he's doing it. He knows how to get through it. But I would think you'd be staying in 5th gear at this point to carry as much momentum through the corners as you can without shifting and hurting those tires even more.
Like I said, when you downshifted, you kind of let the motor slow you down, and you didn't have to let off. You could pretty much kind of stay in it, and just the motor shifting down, getting a high RPM, it would allow you to turn, and it felt really good. Problem was, like I said, was on the straightaways, having to make that upshift back into 5th gear, you lose a little bit of momentum because of making that shift. And I think, that's kind of what's hurting him right now. It's not so much the turns, it's that shift on the straightaways. Even though he's in the draft, he loses a little bit because of the shift. But it sounded like I just heard a car on the wall. Not sure who that was.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it was either. I heard something, but
Sounded like it.
I didn't see anybody in the top 4 that had hit the wall, so it could have been somewhere else on the track. But I will say this, Jose Ruiz and Chris Murphy have pulled a little bit of a gap on the rest of those drivers that were chasing them, and they are closing in just a little bit, though, on Wesley Jeanette, or Wesley Jeanette is coming back to them.
I think it's Wesley's coming back because Cole Martin is coming forward. And Wesley's kind of just stayed the same, if maybe just lost a little bit to our leader, to where Cole, he's down to a 2nd now. So Cole has turned it on.
That long run speed.
Yeah, maybe he was saving those tires, trying to reel these guys in when it gets closer to the fuel stop. And
about 5 laps away.
He's getting into within striking distance. He's probably getting the draft now off of that 22. And Kurt, it's now looking like it's under a 2nd, depending on how he comes out of this turn 2. But Cole Martin, Kurt, looking pretty good right now. At least has got himself back into contention for possibly getting this win.
Yeah, and he's faster than the leader, Shad, of Ryan Crooks by about 0.2.
Yeah, 0.2 around here is, that's a lot.
Considering I think 1st through 10th was only separated by 0.2.
I think 1/10 they were saying is like 300 feet or something like, or I don't know, something like that. At these speeds, so
Cole Martin's definitely closed the gap. He's on the back bumper of the 22 now.
Yeah, so
I think he can
might have
close
been
in on
maybe
the
in
2.
those tires.
I will say this though, Shad. I don't think he can do this in the 2nd run when they make the pit stops.
No, he can't afford to give up 2 seconds and then reel him in at the end. He just won't have enough time to get by him, and it's not like Ryan Crooks or Jason Blaney are slouches.
I mean, he might have time because he did it this time with the same amount of laps that he's going to have to go to the end.
Well, it
the problem
depends
is
on
if
when
those
Ryan
guys have
Crooks
been,
hit.
Well, it also depends on how much speed those guys have been putting into their cars. If they conserve it all on the next run, they could be, separated. But Cole's looking to the outside of the 22 now, Shad. He's using the 3rd line, which is kind of what I like to do. I kind of like to float up the track towards the end of a run and use that 3rd line to cut down off the corner to get a little more momentum out of the corner, and he's using it to gain right to the back bumper of the 22. He is all over the back of the 22.
Yeah, he's trying to push that 22 up instead of fighting him. He's trying to just push him up there and get them closer to that leader. Now he gets a good run through 3 and 4. Going to look underneath that 22. Got a ton of momentum. Should clear him. And does clear him from P2. So
that was a big aggressive turn by the 22. Almost clipped the 31.
Yeah, it looked like he decided late. Like, oh man, maybe I should side draft him. And Cole Martin was already cleared.
But look at Cole closing the gap on the 2 already. He's definitely got something on the long run. I don't want to second guess, Chad, but I know we said, if he can pit on the same lap as these guys, he would be fine. But
and Ryan Crooks, they're all coming.
And they're all coming. And 74 staying out. Wesley Jeanette not pitting.
Oh, Blaney in the grass. Hits the wall, Kurt. Blaney might have got a speeding penalty as well. That's going to ruin the night for Blaney. Slid the tires, Kurt, went up into the grass, and the car got loose, and he smacked that wall that this pit road has, and it turned him around.
Well, one little mistake. We'll see if he can do anything with it. He's been the fastest car on the short run, Chad. So if he could...
Oh, and caution is out.
Wow, and they're on pit road. A lot of them are on pit road. Hopefully they all made it into the pit road exit. Looks like majority of them might have. Tyler Belanger and Papa Bear might be the only 2 that were close to not making the line before the caution came out, Chad.
I think I just heard over race comms that they were in there and it just closed. I don't know if race control is going to clear it or not. This is going to... should hand the lead back over to Ryan Crooks as a 74 did not pit yet, but they came out in front of him, so they shouldn't have to do the wave around. They should be able to just take their position when he pits. If they get back around the track, though, that's the thing. They got to get back around and pass him before he exits pit road, or else 74 will hang on to that P1 position.
Well, it looks like Jose Ruiz, Chris Murphy, Bill Hells, and Jason Blaney are all lined up there, Shad. But this is going to be huge for Jason Blaney because he just had that mistake on pit road. He hits the inside wall. He loses a bunch of time. He loses his position, and he's going to line up and restack him right where he needs to be to make a short run to get back up to the front. And, Chad, we're going to be a little less on time as we were looking at about 28 laps to go before this caution came out. We're going to go back green probably with about 25 to go. We'll pull the leader, Shad, here in just a minute, which I believe is going to wind up being Ryan Crooks.
Yeah, I think once this pit cycle happens,
and our lucky dog, Shad, I am not sure who it's going to go to yet because there's so many different cars one lap down because of the pit road stuff. So I am not sure who actually got the lucky dog, the Alexandria Customs lucky dog. Papa Bear is down pit road again, Shad, and only stopped for... Oh, he was in for 15.4 seconds, so I don't know if he hit actually his pit stop or if he came in just for... I don't know. But we'll pull Ryan Crooks here and talk to him and see how he's doing for tonight. If I can find him. Alright, I don't see Ryan Crooks. So we'll pull Cole Martin. Cole, you got a copy of the Swats and Shadilac in the booth.
Yeah, I got y'all.
What's going on, Cole? You've been looking really fast. You've had some weird strategy calls, and you've wound up right back into the top 10. Now you're going to be sitting P2 when this thing rolls off. What do you got for the 2? You've looked the best on the long run. I will say that for sure.
Well, I don't know what's going to look like here because we're all back together in the draft. I prefer not to be in the draft. I feel like I'm faster that way. And I thought Crooks had this in the bag. I thought he was going to save pretty good there. So I guess I saved pretty good there and caught him. I think it's just been between me and him there. But yeah, the strategy earlier, me and Jovi were trying to save a set of tires for the end here in case a caution came out later, like really late. And then I got in that wreck and it kind of screwed me, but I still got one set left. I don't think anyone else does, so see how it works out here.
well, Cole, we're talking about that one set. We've seen it to where these tires take, 3-4 laps before they come in. Where's kind of that, breaking point of how late you can pit to take advantage of that final set? Because if this thing comes down to 3 to go, I don't know if that tires will come in time for you to be able to really take advantage.
Well, I think you need at least like a 8 lap run to actually get past everyone. Because earlier I took tires when I wrecked and I got a bad start behind people and I couldn't make up ground, so I just coasted around the track. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. I really don't know if I want to caution or not, but we'll see.
All right, well, I'll send you back down to your teammates in WMS. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Chad. I don't know what's going to happen here. We got a lot of drivers that are going to be mixed into this thing that haven't been up here looking through the front rows. I mean, you got Jose Ruiz, Chris Murphy sitting back there in 5th and 6th. You got the 6th of Dakota Ramsdale now up here. You got Connor Elliott. There's a lot of weirdness going on, though, with the order because Papa Bear lined up on the outside row in the 5th row. 1 lap down.
Yeah, there was some cars that I think had to do the wave around. So obviously they start behind lap down cars. And that's why Papa Bear's so high up. There's just so many cars. I mean, from 14th on back are a lap down. So
yeah, it didn't look like Papa Bear must have made the line in time because he went the 1 lap down.
Yeah, I don't believe he did. Chris Murphy, Jose, I don't think they did either, but they got the wave around and were able to start up here in the top 5. Now, we see Murphy and Murphy and Ruiz both have pretty good cars on the long run. The problem is they give up too much time on the short run to really be able to do anything, so they're going to have to push the pace here with 23 to go. Oh, we got a wreck. 15-22, Kurt Blaney.
Blaney into the inside wall. Caution is going to be back out, Chad, and I believe Cole Martin took the lead before the caution came out. I believe that was the 15 of... Connor Elliott. So we'll go back and take a look at what happened there between the 15 and the 22. All right, so we're looking at the 22 on the bottom right here. And it looks like it comes up a little wobbly, and so does the 15.
Yeah, 22's loose, 15's loose. 15 just couldn't hang on to it. Comes down the track right into the 22, who was also loose, right in front of the 44. I think that's who that was.
It's Brandon Watkins.
Yeah, and he dodges a bullet there, but unfortunate for Blaney, going to start towards the end of the lead lap cars and might have a little bit of damage. Take a look here. Actually, it don't look bad.
Hit the wall now twice, so.
Yeah, that actually, his car looks pretty good. So, yeah. I think the biggest thing is losing that track position.
Well, we're going to have another restart here. Cole Martin, thinking about coming down pit road, dives back up. Would it have been a good strategy, Shad, with 22 to go to come down and grab that last set and be, 6-7 laps fresh tires? There's only 14 on the lead lap.
But they only had like one green flag lap right there, so I don't think that would be enough to justify losing all that track position. I don't think one lap, fresher tires is going to get you up there.
All right, well, we'll go down, and how about we've grabbed Johnny D, Shad? I don't think we've talked to Johnny D since his win last year at Phoenix. Johnny, you got a copy? This is Swats and Shadowlike in the booth.
Yes, sir. I got you guys.
All right, Johnny, we figured to bring you up here because you're currently sitting in the top 5, sitting in P4. You've got fans out there usually rooting for you every single week. Haven't seen them tonight, actually, but maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you have to tell them to not watch the races for you. But you're sitting up here in the top 5. What do you got for the end of the race here with about 21 or 20 to go when we go back green?
I don't know, man. I'm honestly just happy to be up here. I've had a roller coaster of a season, I guess you can say. It seems like one week I'm running solid in the top 10, and then the next week I'm struggling and spinning and just trying not to run into stuff. But yeah, I've had a solid night here tonight. Just thankful to be here, man. Thankful to have a shot at it here. I was really close on fuel, so I'm honestly pretty happy for that cautions because now I think we're all pretty good here on fuel. So yeah, should be exciting here. I think we got about 20 to go. So this is when you earn your money right here.
Well, Johnny, we've seen you out of the top 10, then back in the top 10, then right there with the lead group of like 6 or 7 cars. You got a teammate with you up in that top 5. What can the two of you do to get by that 31 and 2, who look to be pretty strong? 31 definitely on the long run.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Wesley's up here with me. Him and I always seem to work well together. We always seem to kind of be near each other towards the end of these things. So I got a really good long run car. So I'm expecting to maybe get passed by 1 or 2 of them here. And I'm just trying to stick with Wesley. And hopefully here in about 10 laps, my car will come to life and we'll have something for him.
All right, Johnny. Well, we'll send you back down to your teammates in Field Up Motorsports. You guys have a good luck on the rest of the race. And we'll see if we're talking to you at the end of the night.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right, Chad. 2 teammates up here in the top 5 is a good deal. We've got 2 more teammates in the top 7 with Murph and Ruiz, and then we've got Bill Hills, Brandon Watkins, Tyler Belanger making his return to the top 10, and then the rest of the Fuel Up Motorsports guys back there towards the back. It doesn't look like Jason Blaney, Chad, took a pit stop there, so guess the damage is not too terrible for him.
Yeah,
Papa Bear is going to get that Lucky Dog award.
Yeah, and Blaney, we heard about Cole Martin saying he doesn't think anybody else has another set with the way his strategy played. And, you know, if the damage wasn't that bad on the 22, what's the point of pitting? So, you know, I guess I probably would have pit. He's going to be the tail end of the lead lap anyways. I would have just pit just to make sure. But yeah, Tyler Belanger definitely taking advantage of these cautions. He was way out of this, and the cautions have brought him back in it to where he has somewhat of a chance. But Kurt green flag comes back out. 31 Cole Martin gets a jump of about 2 car lengths over that 2 of Ryan Crooks. Can he hang on to that lead, get that first win of the season, and make up some points to get himself into this top 12 for the playoffs?
Yeah, they've watched Cole Martin come from behind on long runs. I don't think you want him to be out front immediately on a short run, knowing that long run speed comes in, because if it comes in again, Chad, I feel like he's going to pull away from here. But we could always have a caution late into the run. If we go another 5-10 laps, Chad, and he's the only one with an extra set of tires, does he pit with 10 to 12 go?
Well, we heard him. It was going to take about a 10 or 8 lap run to really, you know, take advantage of those fresher tires.
But if he already has the lead, do you pit?
I wouldn't, because we've seen him be so good on the long run. But we got a car stop, Kurt. Turn 1, the 9, Austin Walton. Looks like he's getting it going now. No caution, Kurt, as it's only 1 car. But now I see the 15, Kurt, slow on the backstretch. Not sure what's going on there. He actually exits out, so we're going to stay green for right now, Kurt. 31 Cole Martin still up front. And if I'm that 2, Kurt, I just pace Ryan Crooks. And now the caution comes out as the 13 and the 6 and the 10. Oh, and it looks like, Kurt, the 88 at Tyler Belanger also involved.
This thing got real interesting there. But now we're going to wind up with 17 to go, Shad. Is that within the window for Cole to come down and grab that extra set of tires, knowing everybody else has 10 to 12 lap older tires than he will? Can he come from behind, or do you put yourself in that hornet's nest, or do you just stay up front with what you got?
I think I just stay up front. He's been a good car on the long run, so he's definitely has the right pace to be quick.
He also thinks nobody else has an extra set. So
yeah,
if for some reason his math is off, and one of these other guys in the top 10, because there's only 15 guys on the lead lap, or 13 guys on the lead lap. So even if you're in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever it is, if you pit, you're going to come back out 13th, but you'll have the freshest tires of anybody by more than 12 laps.
Yeah, but we've only gone about, what, 4 green flag laps?
Maybe.
Something like that, 4 or 6. Is that going to be enough to really take advantage of? I
don't know if I'm Cole, I don't know if I do it. I think if I'm in, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way to 13th.
Yeah,
if you're going to start in 13th anyways, because there's only 13 lead lap cars, there's not going to be a 14th because...
Oh, yeah, you're not losing anything.
Yeah,
you're not losing anything.
So you're going to throw yourself on fresh tires of 12 to 14 lap fresher tires, even though we've only had 6 to 8 green flag runs. Does that benefit you? I feel like if I'm in any one of those positions, even if I'm in 3rd, 4th, or 5th.
They just passed pit road, Kurt, and
nobody can.
It looks like the first car, I think, is that 88 who has damage. Yeah. 88 Tyler Belanger does have damage. He might have a fast repair still, as that left front does have quite a bit of damage on it. But we'll have to see if he has tires. If he has tires, Kurt, this could be the play for Tyler Belanger to get up there and improve his position, if anything.
We'll see if the car goes up at all. Right side's going up.
It does have tires. This could work out for Tyler Belanger. And left side's going up too. So, yeah, he had the fast repair, so that car's crispy clean again, and now he's going to have really good tires.
Yeah, with about 14 to go. And you heard Cole say if it wasn't right around 10 laps, 8 to 10 laps is what he said was the minute or the maximum.
He's not going, though.
He might not have the fast repair.
No, he does. It's already fixed.
Oh.
Unless he's just looking at the replay because he knows he's going to be starting at the back of the lead lap anyways.
Well, we'll catch up with Tyler to see if he comes out of the pits. I still don't see him moving, Joe. Oh, there he goes.
All right. Well, that could be the play. I mean, you know, he's going to start.
He's got nothing to lose on it. And he's in the top 8 in the points. So if he could jump up here into the top 5, even that, Chad, would definitely benefit him for the points night. With John Osborne, Nate Mon, and Nick Gowan all missing, it could definitely help him in the points. Coming into next week's race at Las Vegas, being the season finale for the regular season next week.
So I believe the 12.
John Tiller.
Yeah, I believe the 12 of John Tiller just got the Alexandria Customs waiver round. So that puts 14 cars, I believe, on the lead lap. And Tyler Belanger is going to be that 14th car, I believe. And he's going to have really fresh tires. But I think John Tiller also put tires on too, Kurt. So those two could make some hay here after about 3 or 4 laps. When we go green, they could make some moves.
And I wonder if they don't catch the field, Chad, if they could be at max speed when they get to the start line.
Nah, they're going to catch the field.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, that might have been something Tyler might have been holding off on, too. He caught the line. I was going to say, if he could have held off just a little bit longer on that comeback around turn or lap, he could have been at full speed before they got to the start-finish line, which would have definitely helped him, too. Old Harry Hogg, I want you to be at max speed when they hit the line.
So it looks like Tyler B will start 13th.
Yeah,
John
start
Tiller
13th.
14th. So yeah, I mean, he was riding back, you know, towards the back of the field before that wreck anyways. So if anything,
about 8th or 9th, so
yeah, so if he can even get 5th, I mean,
it's an improvement.
yeah, so I mean, we're gonna find out here, Kurt.
Well, we're going to hopefully only have one more restart, but we're 1 to green. Pace car down into the restart box. Cole Martin onto the gas pedal. Ryan Crooks on the outside. Cole Martin getting a great jump to go across the start-finish line. We'll go into turn 1, 2x2 for the first couple rows there. Ryan Crooks ducking in behind Cole Martin to go into turn 1. We've got 13 laps to go at Auto Club. Race number 10 coming to a conclusion here shortly.
Cole Martin trying to stay out of that draft of Ryan Crooks, zig and zagging down the backstretch. Ryan Crooks, though, staying with them, though, as they headed off into turn 3. Weston Jeanette now taking over P3 with Johnny D, his teammate, right there in P4. Ryan Crooks looks like he got tight, though, behind Cole Martin, though, going to lose time, and also going to have the 74 of Weston Jeanette now getting by him, it looks like.
42 is going to try it as well.
Yeah, Johnny D coming up trying to get onto that podium spot as well. It looks like Ryan just got in that dirty era of Cole Martin and just pushed him tight. And he had to get out of the throttle, and it allowed almost to... Oh, no, I see. Looks like the 88. 88, Tyler B got loose coming out of turn 2.
Tires.
Yep.
We've seen Ryan drop back a couple times after a little mistake or having to let off shot. It takes about a lap to get that momentum back. He's already coming back around the 42. He's closing in the gap on the 74. Ryan's still in this, but 22 of Jason Blaney Shad has moved up into the top 6. He's challenging the 42 on just the outside of him. Bill Hell's sitting right in P7. Nate Line, another Fueled Up Motorsports guy, in P8. And Brandon Watkins, 9th, and Papa Bear Shad in P10. Oh, Bill Hill's getting a little loose coming off of turn 2. And there goes another one, Jose Ruiz. 42 of Johnny D involved. Jose Ruiz, Jason Blaney. A lot of cars involved in this one too, Shad, but this is going to help several cars, including Tyler Belanger.
Yeah, who we've seen get loose and lose the front pack.
His tires should be worn in now.
Yeah, Jose Ruiz got quite a bit of damage on that car of his. If he's got that fast spare, might as well use it now. And if you got tires, put them on now. If I'm everyone else, though, up front, I'm staying out.
All right, we're going on board here with the 23. 23 of Jose Ruiz on the top side in that blue and black car. Gets a little loose coming off of turn 2. Oh, no, it was actually Jason Blaney pushing the 42, and it turned the 42 sideways, which clipped the 23. 71 of Papa Bear gets head on with the 42. Oof. A lot of cars involved in that one, Chad, but I think that was a bad push from the 22 on his teammate, the 42, that took him and moved him sideways and turned him right into the 23, who was just an innocent bystander on that one and got involved in the incident.
Yeah, 22, the 42 was loose coming off exit. It looks like he got it figured out. And then that 22 just hits him right there on the right rear, a bad spot coming out of these turns. And, they both get loose, and it looks like then the 22 clips the 23, which then turns the 23 into the 42. And then, of course, Papa Bear just nowhere to go. Yeah, unfortunate for Jose Ruiz, who was running strong there up in the top 5. Now going to be towards the back of the pack, and not sure if he's got fresh tires or not. But I think Papa Bear Kurt did have his fast repair. He's back out. And if I ride on board his car, looks clean.
Our lucky dog, Alexandria Customs Award winner, is going to be the 9 Chad of Austin
Walton.
Putting him back on the lead lap. That'll put 15 cars on the lead lap, Chad.
Trying to see, Austin Walton does not come down pit road, though, so no fresh tires for that 9 Root machine. But Austin Walton showed speed, Kurt. Just unfortunately got caught up in a wreck and just has never been able to recover until there. But, obviously he could probably improve a few positions. Definitely had the speed.
Yeah. He pit 18 laps ago, so he's got a little fresher tires than some of the guys around him. Jose Ruiz has 20 lap old tires, but he was just involved in an incident. He's going to have some damage. But yeah, Tyler Bichette, I think, is going to be the one that works out the best for him, because he's going to move up to P7, and he's going to have the freshest tires of anybody. Sean Walton, also right in front of him, has 1 lap fresher tires than Tyler B in the 88. So those two are going to be on fresh tires sitting in 6th and 7th compared to everybody else in front of them with more than 20 lap old tires, except for the 38, who has 14 lap old tires.
Yeah, Jose Ruiz did not come down pit road. Got quite a bit of damage on the front of that thing and the left front. So, I think if I'm Jose, I come down and pit and fix it. I don't see him being able to,
because it's 1 to green.
Oh yeah, so unfortunately, it looked like he tried to have his teammate come and tell him what's wrong with it, but
too late.
Yeah, too late.
Too late. But
the 22 of Blaney deemed responsible for that wreck, so he's going to get an EOL and start tail end Charlie of the field. Gonna probably take him out of contention to win this thing.
And that's that aggression I was talking about. He is a little more aggressive than most of his Field Up Motorsports teammates. I mean, he couldn't have known the 42 was loose there, but clipping the 42 definitely, or pushing the 42, it got him wiggly, and he tried to save it from being loose, and it just whipped him right into the 23. And then the 22 went down to the inside of the track, but didn't hit anything, so luckily for him. But, yeah, he's going to start on the tail end of the field and not have very good tires.
Yeah, now we got 2 new players, Kurt, up here in the top 6, the 38 and the 10 of Sean Walton up here trying to fight for this win as well.
Yeah, like I said, the 88 sitting there with the freshest tires of all of them. With the 10.
Yeah.
The 10 and the 88 have the freshest tires of anybody in the top 5.
And they should have a little heat in them after getting loose. Can Tyler B make any moves here with 8 to go? Cole Martin gets a good jump again out to about 2 car lengths over the 74 and the 2-2, able to clear the 74 as they go off into turn 1, move Ryan Crooks back to P2.
That was a weird restart. It looked like Ryan maybe shifted down to the bottom lane. Or did Cole start on the outside?
Cole started on the inside, which should have put Ryan Crooks right behind him.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm sure they'll look at it. But, yeah, back underway. 31 leading right now in front of the 2 and the 74, who've been the 3 fastest cars of the night, Shad. But Brandon Watkins and Nate Line on fresher tires with the 10 and the 88. 88 looked like he's not really moving fast, Shad. He's slipping a little bit there. He lost a couple positions. I don't know if he's got any damage on there, but I thought he used the fast repair like you said. But
Yeah,
he
he
is not
did.
moving.
I think maybe those tires might not have come in yet, only having like one lap. I thought maybe the slide would heat him up, but then having a caution, letting him cool back down.
I'd have definitely wiggled side to side to heat those babies up.
Yeah, I would have been trying everything to get a lot of heat into him, but
But that could
maybe here in
benefit him
2-3
with 6 laps to
laps.
go, yeah. If he's sitting right here in the top 10, he could work his way up into the top 5 if he gets some heat into him after another lap or two, and he's already starting to come back. He's closing in the gap on the 12 Shad of John Tiller, who also pitted with the 88. John Tiller has 5-lap old tires, Shad.
Yes, he's starting to make a move. Those tires could come into play. Do we see John Tiller get his first win in Velocity Motorsports tonight? Could be a possibility, Kurt.
Cole Martin up here leading this thing with 5 laps to go. Ryan Crook sitting second, Wesley Jeanette third, Brandon Watkins fourth, Chris Murphy fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth are 3 wide coming off turn
31
4.
gets loose, Kurt. That's going to give the lead over to Ryan Crooks. 74 also going to get by that 31.
Oh, 31 cut right in front of the 44, and he gave him a shot to let him know he didn't appreciate that.
4 laps to go, Kurt. Does anyone have anything now for Ryan Crooks? Ryan Crooks has shown speed. 31 just showed speed a little bit on the longer run. 31 now trying to push that 74 of Wesley Jeanette up front. They're trying to reel that 2 back in. We're going to have 3 to go when they get to the line this time by.
2 looking for his 3rd win on the season, and also back-to-back wins, Shad. Ryan has overcome a lot of stuff this season because he missed the first 2 races of the season. And the 3rd race of the season, he led some laps and then blinked out of the race, which put him last in the ending order. So basically coming from 3 races down to come up into the top 12, and now he's going for his 3rd win of the season here. But who will challenge him? Look at the rest of the field closing in the gap, Shad. Cole Martin coming back with the 74, 44 closing in the gap. Tyler Belanger looked like he was coming strong with John Tiller, but they're hung up behind the 10 and the 7. Ryan Crooks coming to the line with 2 to go now.
2 to go. Got about a 3/10 lead over the 74 and 31. 44, Brandon Watkins hanging on strong as well. Looks like, though, for 5th place, it's going to be Chris Murphy clearing himself finally out of the Hornet's nest.
Cole Martin looked like he was giving every bit of push he could possibly give that 74.
Yeah, now going to look below that 74 as they go off into turn 3. He's going to have to clear him really quick if he wants any shot at getting to Ryan Crooks. If they get hung up, it's going to be Ryan Crooks' race to lose. Looks like Cole Martin is going to clear him, though. It's going to give him 1 lap to reel that 2 in.
White flag in the air, 1 lap to go at Auto Club. Race number 10 for Velocity Motorsports. Will Ryan Crooks win his 3rd race of the season? Will we see a first-time winner between Cole Martin, Brandon Watkins, Wesley Jeanette, or Chris Murphy?
Cole Martin on the high side through turns 1 and 2.
Gonna try to get a big run off the corner.
Yeah, it looked like he got tight, though. He might have had to get out of it a little bit. Did not get a good run. Gonna have to try something, though, going down here into turns 3 and 4. Goes to the high side.
Wesley Jeanette going low through turn 4.
It doesn't look like he's going to have it. Wesley Jeanette might have P2, though.
Ryan Crooks is going to be your winner at Auto Club. P2 is going to go to Wesley Jeanette.
Wesley Jeanette.
Ryan Crooks wins his 3rd race of the season. Back-to-back wins after winning last week's race at Talladega. Shad, Ryan Crooks is the man to beat right now. Nick Gowan not being here tonight is a big factor in this, but Shad, Ryan has been huge this season since joining.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's shown a speed pretty much everywhere we've gone. We'll have to find out how quick he is at road courses.
He's not bad. Neither is Nick Gowan, so.
Tyler Belanger able to make it up to 6 with those fresher tires. So improved by a couple positions by coming down and putting fresh tires on that thing. And, Chris Murphy able to come back up and get a P5 position.
Ryan Crook's going to bring it to the finish line to give us our burnout celebration. Cole Martin and Wesley Jeanette will be coming up to the booth with Ryan Crooks. We'll come back after this burnout by Ryan Crooks in the 2 for his 3rd win of the season. All right, we're back here for the post-race, and we've got the top 3 into the booth for Velocity Motorsports race number 10 at Auto Club being swapped out from Bristol, and Ryan Crooks takes advantage of it. Ryan, you said last week after winning Talladega that you were voting for Auto Club, and it was one of your favorite tracks to go to. It is mine as well, and Shad's as well. And you come out tonight. I picked you as the winner. Shad picked Cole, so we got 2 of you in the top 3. Sorry, Wesley. Shad also picked you as a backup plan, but all 3 of you in the booth here. So, Ryan, what is it about Auto Club that you love to go back to back in Velocity Motorsports this week?
good on the long runs. The right front tends to wear here, so just trying to be easy on the right front. But that was a super fun race. I feel like I banged doors with everybody tonight, and yeah, I didn't have to use a fast repair, so that's always good.
Well, Ryan, I mean, you obviously showed the speed. You, Cole, Wesley were pretty much up there all night. Cole looked to be a little better on the long run, but the problem was you were opening up a 2-second gap on him when he was doing this. He got out front there, towards the end of this race, and at one point, you had to get out of the gas, and you and Wesley started going at it, and I thought for sure Cole had it at that point. How are you feeling, at that, point of the race, and then, when that caution came out, you must have been extremely relieved.
Yeah, Blaine, the 22 set the pace a lot tonight. When he would get out in the lead, he would go really hard. And, I was trying to balance, trying to keep pace with him and also trying to save stuff. But Cole was definitely better than me on the long run. And after the stage break, when we went green for a while, I kind of got out to a lead, and the 22 is in second. I know Cole was coming, and I think they kind of got side by side, and it kind of let me get out in front. And yeah, I was controlling the race after that, and we had a restart. And I had done a great job all race of kind of using, you're in fourth gear coming through 1 and 2, and it gets slick on the new tires. And I did a good job of all night up until that point of, maximizing kind of the pace you can carry into 1 and 2, especially on exit. And overstepped the boundary, just a little bit, and thought I was going to wreck it, and Cole came by, and we ended up getting a caution, and I knew it was going to be kind of hard to dig out of there. It's really hard to restart in second, and yeah, I got behind him, and he did a great job using the air in 3 and 4. Thought I was going to get the wall checked up, and Wesley came by, and I knew at that point my strategy was really just to try to get behind Wesley and push him back up to the 30 or to Cole, and get them racing, and then see what I could do there. And we got a caution, and I was in third. To be honest, I thought Cole was going to take the top, because that would have put Wesley down in front of me, and I'd have been second row, so on the bottom though, and he'd have been the control car on the top. So when he chose the bottom, I was like, oh, this is it. I got to get a good run here, and I got to get to him. And I gave it up to Cole, and he gave it right back in 4. It's just super hard when you're pushing that hard. There's a real thin line in these cars. So when he got loose, I went on the outside of him, and I was like, he's either going to come up and hit me, and if he does, I got a fast repair. I can come down and take it. If not, I get to control the race. And Cole did a great job of gathering it up, and him and Wesley, they had a big run coming to me on white flag going into 1, and I was like, oh man, there's no way I can lose this race. But thankfully he held on, and we got the dub.
Ryan, I don't want to use this term, but I'm going to. I would say some people may say that you might have lucked into this one tonight. You lucked into possibly one last week at Talladega as well, because it's such a track that nobody ever knows what's going to happen to that track. And there was a lot of things going on. But this is your 3rd win now this season. You missed technically 3 races, with missing the first 2, and then the 3rd race at Texas you blinked out of. So I claimed 3 races that you missed. But you do get the 1 provisional for one of those races. Obviously not the Texas one, because you started it. So that's going to help you as well coming through the points. But you've worked your way into the top 10. Now you've got your 3rd win, which gives you 3 playoff points, or 3 extra bonus points, plus the other 6 that you've gotten for the other 2 wins. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, with next week being the last race of the regular season, and it's possible that Nick Gallen's going to miss that race as well. I know that you're good at, or pretty decent at road courses. Wesley Jeanette's really good at road courses. Nick Gallen's really good at road courses. You guys are the ones I'm going to be watching for sure when it comes to road courses. Cole, sorry, I don't know if you're good at road courses or not, or else I'd include you in that, but I don't know if I've ever seen you run a road course. But Wesley won last season on a road course. I believe it was the Roval, and then Nick should have won this season, wherever we were earlier in the season when we had all the mysterious stuff going on. But what's it going to take to get through that first round of the playoffs? Because we're going to have Indy road course, and then we're going to have Richmond, which I know Richmond you're good at.
Yeah, I definitely was lucky last week, got the dub. probably definitely backed into that one. This one I was up front all day, but just as many as I probably backed into. I gave away Texas, dominated that race, should have took home the dub there. And then yeah, Darlington, I feel like I was in a really good spot. Restarted on fresh tires, kind of got an advantage on the other guys with fresh tires, and made just an awful mistake coming out of 4 and walled myself, and somehow managed to bring home a top 5. So yeah, to be honest, man, I feel like, you know, personally I should be at 5, but yeah, overall it's been a good season for me. A lot of good competitors in here, especially with the road courses coming up. I love road course racing. I feel like I'm good at it, but you know, definitely can put in more work. But it's a style of racing I like, and Richmond's a track I like as well. So yeah, it's just gonna, you know, just got to be consistent and avoid the really big, really bad weeks. You know, like the DNFs or so on and so forth. Got to avoid those, but. Super tight field. Everybody's really competitive. Everybody's kind of got the tracks that fit their driving style. So just got to stay consistent, and you know, even when it's not my week, just try not to push and, you know, make a mistake. Kind of have done a couple times. So as long as we stay consistent, keep our nose clean, we should be all right.
Well, just don't go find a part-time driver for that road course when we get there. But, just saying. But
he sucks.
Just saying. But you know, you got the 3rd win of the season. Any shout-outs, people you want to thank, things like that? I know you usually got a pretty good following.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, Kurt and Swats and everybody in the booth, and Tyler for putting the league on, and all the great competitors in here. Shout out Zen on the car this week. Trying to get a little thing with them, but yeah, I got a good little following, and everybody kind of that watches, and all the cool messages and stuff I get. Appreciate everybody, and yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, Shad, any final words for our winner tonight?
Just an amazing race. Obviously, congrats on the 3rd win of the season back to back. Obviously setting yourself up well for the playoffs with those bonus points of getting wins. So congrats to you for bringing it home P1 tonight.
Thanks, Watson. I gotta say too, I'm glad those admin box cars, I don't know, I know Blaney's one, I think Jeanette's one, they work together so well. So I'm just glad. I was worried, like, if they'd have been up here in the top 2, top 3, coming down together, how they work together, I definitely thought I was in trouble, because they use the straightaways to draft, and try to do everything I could to try to get them separated. So love to see Cole up there in the Chevy. So yeah, glad we could take it home.
All right, well, that's going to take it for our first place finisher tonight. Ryan Crooks coming away with his 3rd win of the season. And we still got one race to go in the regular season in Las Vegas, and I know you're quick there too. So before we get to the playoff run, we'll see what happens next week with the points and who comes away with the regular season championship. But congrats to Ryan again. We'll go talk to 2nd place finisher Wesley Jeanette in the 74. Chad, I think I know watching these races as a broadcaster and the practice you put in prior to the race with these guys being out on the track with them and things like that, it's got to be getting to you a little bit, knowing that AutoClub is one of our favorite tracks where you could be out here finishing. I know how fast you are at AutoClub. Does this really get to you?
No.
No. Okay.
I got my own league to run AutoClub in 2 weeks, so
well, go for your championship on Mondays. But we'll bring up 74 Wesley Jeanette. 74 Wesley in that Fueled Up Motorsports. Like Ryan said, you guys in the Fueled Up Motorsports team were definitely working well together. Had a few run-ins again. We talked about this a little bit on, I think, the stage break, or maybe it was a caution or something, and talking about, you know, you guys have been very fast working together. You guys have a really good team when it comes to draft tracks and things like that, working and trying to get you guys all up here. I think at Talladega we've seen at least 5 of you lined up at one point trying to break away from the field. But it comes down to you guys, you know, having incidents between each other. We've seen the 22 get into an incident with the 42 and getting them loose and turning them. You guys were up here and you guys got into an incident. There's little things here and there that your team is just a little bit off on it, but I think it's the aggression. I think it's the want to win, or the will to win, the want to win, that is pushing you guys to try to get up here, and it's showing up on speed and strategy. Now you just got to work on not bumping and wrecking each other. But how does it feel to be the Fueled Up Motorsport car that comes up here and gets the top 3 with, you know, being I would say outside of Jason not finishing the top 3, you 3 here were the 3 fastest cars on the track pretty much the entire night.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Finishing Cole kind of let me slip in there that last lap, but finishing up here with these guys is definitely no shame in that. Thought I had a chance to maybe get one tonight, which usually AutoClub is not one of my better tracks, or a track that I look forward to racing on too much, but maybe that'll change going forward. But as far as the team goes, those guys, and we're just really passionate and always kind of pushing the envelope. And that stuff will clean up, I know, over time, and we'll continue to try to work together. And we just like racing together, so and everybody on the team is passionate and wants to do well, wants to see the other guy do well. That's what's really great about it. So, but there's never any hard feelings when that stuff happens. We know that we're just trying to help each other out, and that's all Jason was trying to do there in that situation with the 42. That stinks for both of them, but I think it's coming. You're going to see how everything come together, and maybe we'll all be up here in the top. So,
well, Wesley, you got one more race, and then we go to an all-star, and then it looks like Tyler might do an off week before we start the playoffs. Looks like you might have 2 other teammates joining you in the top 12 if everything goes right next week. How much of that is a benefit to have 3 team cars compared to most of these guys that might only have 1 or 2?
I think with the tracks that we got coming up in the playoffs, I don't know if it's going to be a huge benefit, but of course, we like to see as many of our guys in that top 12 as we can. So, but any chance we get to work together, and we always look forward to that. So, which ones is it looking like? Tiller and Liner jumping up in there, or Blaney and Tiller?
I think Blaney and Johnny D actually.
Oh, Johnny D. Okay, awesome.
Johnny D is 15th in the points. John Tiller's 13th in the points, and Blaney is 12th. So you could actually possibly
you might get 4
get up in.
Oh
here.
Wow, that'd be nice.
Yeah, not for everybody else, but I'm sure for you guys. But I mean, the downside of that is we don't have very many draft-heavy tracks in the playoffs. The only one that I can really see big in draft is, I guess, Charlotte, Kentucky, maybe. I don't think Iowa is, but the rest is all short track and road course. So those, style tracks where it definitely benefits to have more teammates in the running. I mean, even if they don't make the playoffs, you still have more teammates on the track to help you and break up other guys who are in points battles for positions with you. So it definitely can play a part. But yeah, you could wind up with 4 teammates being in the 12, which is almost insane to say. Last season we had 3 make it into the playoffs together, and 3 make it in, or all 4 actually, make it into the playoffs, and then all 4 make it to the final 4 to go battle each other. So could that be fueled up Motorsports this season?
I certainly hope so. It's definitely going to be tough. I feel like the entire group of racers that we have this year is a little bit stronger than last year, even though I didn't run the whole season last year because of work and stuff. But
you did win the Roval.
I did run the Roval, yes. And hopefully we can get another one of those at Indy. That's one of my favorite tracks. So, and would have done better at the other road course this year, but I made
got caught up in turn.
I got caught up in that mess. yeah, that was a mess. But fought back and got a decent finish in that one. But yeah, that's going to be hard to beat, getting four teammates in the top 4 like those guys did. That was insane.
Well, we're going to come into next week at Las Vegas. It's a semi-draft track, I would believe, not a full draft track, but draft definitely helps in a lot of situations on that track. So we'll see what you guys can do next week. Any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anything like that you got to do?
Yeah, I was happy to have Admin Box on the car tonight. Was hoping to get a win for those guys. I just actually got one of their products here recently. It's an amazing product for anybody that's...
Did you get a button box?
Yeah, I got a button box of theirs. I've got a few button boxes, and I usually make my own, but I picked up one of theirs just to check out. It's really well done. Clark Heating and Cooling, of course, my teammates, you guys, Tyler, for putting on this it's good. This league, which I've run a few leagues, it's definitely one of the more fun ones I've ever been in, and definitely one of the most competitive. And congratulations to the other top 3 finishers. Ryan, good win. Yeah, we'll see you next week at Vegas.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for second place. We'll go to third place, and that's Cole Martin in the third position. Cole, you had one of the fastest cars on the long run. Chad and I were kind of thinking here, you have a shot here if we could go green, but those cautions kept giving out, which kept restacking the field. Did that play a part in, the finishing order that you come in tonight?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it played a part in it. I mean, I feel like me and Ryan and Wesley were probably the best on long runs there, and I think I was running Ryan down there before that one caution came out there at the end. So yeah, I feel like the draft and the short runs just killed me tonight. I mean, I definitely gave the race away coming out of turn 4 there, but yeah, it definitely played a part.
Well, Cole, if the points right now on the league page are up to date, you currently sit in 12th, 1 point to the good, and 1 point behind Jason Plenty for 11th. You go to Vegas next week. Obviously a fast mile and a half, multi-groove. Tires are important there as well, and we've seen you tonight and other races be very strong with the long run. How you feeling about Vegas, about getting your way into this top 12 for the playoffs?
Honestly, I don't really know. I've never. Well, this is like my first season with Next Gen in a league, so I'm just taking it one track at a time here with these cars. I'm trying to still figure out how to properly race them and stuff. So if it's like tonight, I'll be happy. I just need to get some stage points next week. Tonight I definitely missed out on those with the caution that came out. Kind of messed up my strategy there and getting wrecked there and stupidly like hitting the brakes there. So yeah, if I can just get some stage points and get a top 10, I feel pretty comfortable make it to the playoffs. But I mean, I'm just going to take it one race at a time before I even get to the playoffs. I got to make them first before I can make it to championships. So that's what I'm focused on.
We'll call this 31 Deathwish Coffee Company has been very fast tonight. I really thought you had the shot to get that first time win tonight. It was super close. If the stage didn't go your way with everything that happened through there, is there any takeaway from this style of track going into next week that it would be kind of similar with the gritty surface? The draft is helpful, multi-lane. Not obviously as big as AutoClub, but will you be able to take anything from tonight into next week, being Las Vegas?
I mean, I definitely feel like I can with the surface. If we can just save tire and, just pace ourselves like this track, I feel very comfortable with that. At times I oversave, which is a big problem for me, but I'm just trying to get used to how aggressively you can drive these cars, so... yeah, I definitely think saving is going to work out for me there. So, yeah, hopefully we get the win or something and easily get into the playoffs there.
All right, well, that's going to be the 31 coming home third tonight. Cole, you got any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors?
I'd like to thank Joey. He's the only one here tonight with us, so they are just vibing there in the chat, just having fun and racing. He dipped out on me. He got a pit road penalty there in that green flag stop.
Okay, that's what happened. We were wondering what happened.
He dipped out to go play some Call of Duty with old mate. So yeah, I'd like to thank for their support. They're playing COD there, calling out, doing call outs and stuff while I was racing. Really helped me out. So I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank Nick and Nate. They good friends of mine. They didn't make it, so I thank them and thank you all for having this great broadcast and sticking around. And the league, a great league to run in, clean, and they're very well taken care of.
All right, well, we appreciate that. And Shad, this is going to wrap up Auto Club race number 10. We've got Las Vegas next week, and these points couldn't be any closer for a lot of positions. Nick Gowan is now going to only be 20 points in front of Jose Ruiz and only 38 or 36 points in front of Tyler Belanger. Both of them could pass Nick if Nick does not show up next week. Ryan Crooks moves into 4th if these points are corrected, and he's only 40 points back from Nick Gowan, which is a possibility as well. Wesley's going to move into 5th, jumping Jovi, who drops to 6th. Nate Mon drops from 4th to 7th. Brandon Watkins moves into 8th. Chris Murphy helps himself out with a good finish tonight in P5, which he desperately needed, and moves into 9th. Bill Hells is in 10th. Jason Blaney moves up to 11th. Cole moves into 12th. And then from there, Shad, I mean, if you look at Bill Hells, Jason Blaney, Cole Martin, John Tiller, Johnny D, John Osborne, Andrew Bolander, there's only 20 points separating all of those guys from 10th all the way to 15th. So it's going to get heavy next week with Las Vegas, and there's going to be a lot of people that come up snake eyes that don't make it into the playoffs. We said prior during this race that it would be an aggressive Las Vegas to make it into that top 12, to go for the money, all 12 spots getting a payout, biggest obviously being the winner, plus the trophy. Everybody just wants to make it to the playoffs, have the points reset, and then try to get through each round to get to that Final Four race at Iowa. I don't even know who's going to make it. It's so congested with so many people within this grasp of points. I mean, Bill Hells, Jason Blaney, Cole Martin, John Tiller are only separated by 12 points, 15 back to Johnny D. So that's not a lot of room.
Yeah, let's see how many Vegas puns I can put in this right now.
So try to.
We got, like you were saying, a small gap between 1st to 5th. Is doable. We've seen Ryan Crooks tonight with the win. He got 48 points. I believe, yes. Let me double check. Yeah, 48 points for the win. So if you're within 48 points of Nick Gowan, you could possibly take over the points lead and get those bonus points for the playoffs, which means Wesley Jeanette, Ryan Crooks, Tyler B, Jose Ruiz, all are within that. And actually, if you look back to Jovi Ray's 47. So Jovi Ray, even though he hasn't won a race, if he wins the next one, wins the stage, leads laps, Joey Ray could find himself in first place ending the regular season. So does Joey Ray double down on a strategy call, roll the dice a little bit, and bet himself, put it all on black, and come out with a win? We'll see. Ryan Crooks, 4 wins right now, Kurt. Could go for 5, and if he gets that 5th win, he could be the leader going into the playoffs. But then, yeah, like back towards the back of this 12, 8th to 15th, you're not safe. You know, Brandon Watkins, 20 points above 12th. Chris Murphy, 18 points. So, and then it just keeps dropping from there. Cole Martin missed some races, didn't have the greatest luck on strategy sometimes. 1 point to the good. He started the night, I think he was like 25 points out. Yeah, so Cole Martin just made up a ton of ground. John Osborne was in the top 12.
He was 8.
Missed tonight to watch a Braves-Dodgers game. And now finds himself, 19?
All the way back in 15th.
17 points out of the top 12. So it's going to be crazy. Vegas is known for multiple grooves, high speed, saving tires, and sometimes it comes down to a luck of the roll and coming out with a strategy call. 2 tires is not a bad thing when it comes to Vegas. Same thing kind of like tonight. It takes a couple laps for the tires to come in. You go out on 2 tires, jump a few spots, you could put yourself in, possibility to come out on top. And some of these guys, Kurt, I think towards the back, they're going to have to do that. Talking Bolander, Osborne, they pretty much need a win.
They're gonna have to keep their eye on each other and try to pull strategy calls on each other.
Yeah,
when one does, the other one won't do, and the other ones they'll try to mix it up as well.
Yeah, I mean Cole Martin, if he shows the speed that he had tonight, I believe he's in. Jason Blaney shows the speed, doesn't have some bad luck, and maybe keeps the aggression down a little bit. I think he's in. Bill Hell's been pretty solid all season long, Kurt, and yet he's barely above the cut line. Chris Murphy, defending champ, bad luck all season, and he's in right now, not by a whole lot, but he's currently in that top 12. And then you go Nathan Monkert. He's won 2 races this season, has an average finish of 6th. He's only 25 points above the cut line.
That could change. Don't forget, some of these guys have not used their provisionals. So that actually could change.
Yeah, I don't know if that's in there. So, and Nick Gallen's, I don't know if that's in there or not.
Yeah, so some of these could change because of provisional.
That could
as
change
of right now.
Yeah, as of what we're looking at right now, it's very tight. From top, who's going to come out on first if Gallen does miss next week. We don't know who's going to be the regular season's champ. And we don't know right now which 6 drivers or 7 drivers are going to be battling for that final 12th position to go to the playoffs and have a chance at winning this championship. Not only do you get in the top 12 and have a chance at the championship, but you get in the top 12 and you get some money guaranteed back. Whether that's $15 to help pay for the entry fee, or you get the entry fee plus a little bit on top of that if you finish, 10th or above, I think. So these guys there's definitely something to fight for, and it's going to be crazy at Vegas. And Vegas is such a fun track. Mile and a half, high banked, little bit of a tri-oval. And I can't wait, Kurt. Final race of the regular season. It seems like this season just started 2 weeks ago, and here we are, the 11th race of the season coming up. And we're going to find out who our 12 are going to be. And, if we go to an all-star race after that, and then possibly a 1-week break before we start the playoffs. And look at what we start off the playoffs with, Indy Road Course. So these boys are going to have to be ready. And the top 12, when they make it, they better start practicing for Indy, because Nick Gallen, at the last road course we ran, which he should have won if some other, didn't pull some shady stuff.
I think he'd have won by almost 40 seconds if he would have been the winner.
So, West Jeanette won the road course last season. Wasn't near Nick Gallen, so they're going to have to put in some practice. Of course, Indy Road Course is a little bit easier, I think, in my opinion, than Road America. But it's still a road course. You're going to have road course ringers. And
tonight for a lot of people.
Yeah, and Indy's, it's no slouch. So I look forward to it, Kurt. It's going to be a great call next week, and I don't know how we're going to keep up with the points, but somehow one of us, or I guess probably me, I'm going to have to keep up with stage points and where guys are running, and when we get down to 20 to go, figure out who's in, who's not, and who's got to move forward quick.
Yeah, what I'll probably try to do before next week's race is try to mark the guys that are for sure into the playoffs, and then everybody that's battling for that 12th position within reason I'll mark on the scoring pylon as well, so that we can pay attention to where they finish in the stage next week, and where they finish at the race. So, and that'll go into the playoffs. We'll see everybody that's in the playoff hunt, and then as they get knocked off each week, or as they get closer and closer to the ending each round, we'll see who's in contention of being knocked out. But Chad, it's going to get interesting. I can't wait to go to Las Vegas next week and then take that all-star race run that's going to be announced at a specific track, and then we'll go to that bye week, and then we'll come back to start Indy Road Course and get these playoffs underway. Some of it feels like it's been a long season. Some of it feels like it just started, like you said. So we'll see what happens here. We'll come back next Tuesday for Velocity Motorsports. You can join me on Thursday with repeat over for the Spartan Challenge Series for iRock TV, and we'll see where we go from here. So thank you, everybody that was out there in the chat, and the viewers for tonight, and we'll catch you guys next Tuesday at about 7:30.